Yep. Thanks, Ben. Great kids, great families. I know both families. Yeah. You know Milt Lee, that Isaac is his son. are looking at Jackson Field in South Bend. South Bend September Fridays always have a buzz about them, and this one is no different. It's the 78th renewal of the rivalry between Adams and Riley on the 46th game of the week. And how you doing, everybody? 6 feet apart from my Hall of Fame partners, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt. It's Chuck Freeby. Great to have you with us for what we hope will be an exciting Friday night of high school football. The Adams Eagles, maybe the story in Northern Indiana so far this high school football season. After going winless in 2019, they're 2-0 and haven't given up a point in 2020. Bob Nagel, how in the world have they done it?
Well, they've done it because they're healthy this year as opposed to last year, but they're a very well-balanced team. They've got some big play guys, but they don't mind running the clock and running the football, and their quarterback and running back have been very effective. And this is a team that's growing in confidence. And, you know, one of the things about Antoine Jones, the head coach, he's not overconfident, but feeling really good about the way this team has started the season.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's the thing is not getting ahead of ourselves. One game at a time. We're in a very strong conference, and we plan on being in and winning every game. But the only way you can do that is one game at a time. Can't get ahead of yourselves. Can't worry about ratings or anything else. How many shutouts? We just got to play good Adams football.
Now, South Bend Riley comes in with a record of 0-2, and last week they had an 11-point halftime lead. Looked like they were going up by 18. Penalty called the touchdown pass back, and then John Glenn took advantage. But, Bob Nagel, I would say that I think Riley might be better than the record indicates.
Well, coaches have said the biggest improvement you make is from week 1 to week 2, and they did. They just had some young people that are in key positions, and they had a couple of mistakes, kind of got away from them. But I love the way Coach Kinsey is talking about his kids and how much they're spending time teaching and learning and coaching. And this is a team that's going to get better as the season goes along. And I don't know if you knew this, but they've qualified for the playoffs already. And Coach Kinsey is really excited about this matchup with John Adams tonight.
Absolutely. The guys have been hungry for this one. You know, you like to say it's just another game, but obviously crosstown rivals, this is definitely one that's circled on the calendar coming up every year. So it'd be a good one to get.
The Indiana Football Hall of Famer Bo Hunt on the sidelines or in the bleachers tonight, wherever we wind up putting them. But as it is, Bo, we've talked about both these teams, and sometimes this early in the season, you kind of wonder if you've got fool's gold on either side. How much stock can you put in these records so far?
I think it's like playing the stock market. You don't really even know what's going to happen with these two teams. I mean, yeah, sure, one's 2-0, one's 0-2, but who have they played and how those teams adjusted and how these teams adjusted as well. I think the biggest thing coming out here tonight, and a lot of these kids went to grade school together. We got relation playing against each other on each side of the ball. So you never know what happens when you got that type of competitiveness going back and forth between the two teams.
Well, this rivalry may have been the reason James Whitcomb Riley wrote, "Oh, it sets my heart a-clicking like the ticking of a clock." He would get fired up for a Friday night like this, and so are we. The Jordan Automotive Keys to Win on the 46 pregame show roll on after this.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by Intera Credit Union, Bills Heating, Jordan Automotive Group, TCU, Aegis Dental Group, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
Passed away after an illness. And also on Saturday, 7-year-old Josiah Stevens, a student in South Bend Community Schools, became the victim of a drive-by shooting. At this time, we ask that everyone please join us for a moment of silence in remembrance of these three individuals. Thank you. At this time, we ask that everyone please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthems.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by the Jordan Automotive Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. You might see some of those Jordan cars zipping by on the US 20 bypass behind Jackson Field as we get ready for Adams and Riley tonight. Time now to look at our Jordan Auto keys to win. And we'll start with the visitors from Adams. They've got some explosive weapons on their offense, and one of them is their top receiver, Sidney Jeffries. 4 catches, 94 yards. But 3 touchdowns. He'll also run the ball a little bit. And defensively, he's had an interception in each of their first 2 games. He'll get some help in the backfield from Chuck Worsham, the former hoop star. Well, he's still a hoop star at Adams, but he has become a football standout. 18 carries for 249 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he also has an interception on defense. The keys to win for Antoine Jones and the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles, like they've done all season so far, offensive execution is going to be crucial. Really, the only team that stopped them so far has been themselves on occasion. They can't allow any explosions, no big plays for the Riley Wildcats, and certainly don't be satisfied. Keep an eye on the prizes, and that includes the NIC and the state tournament. And Antoine Jones, now in his 13th year overall, with a record of 53-72, he's got something going here at Adams.
Meanwhile, as we look at the Riley Wildcats, they have a Division I player in their lineup tonight, and his name is Tyson Lee. He's committed to Western Michigan University. He'll play defense up there, but he plays on both sides of the ball here, and he's a pivotal point of making sure that this Riley team gets back on track after an 0-2 start. So, too, is another senior by the name of Sylvester Orozco, another two-way player. Orozco is their leading receiver, 7 catches for 123 yards. He had a touchdown against Adams last season. He'll also have to come up with some big stops from the linebacker position. The keys to win for interim head coach Justin Kinsey and the Cats.
Well, they need to make Adams drive the football. No big dashes. They got to eliminate their big plays. They got to play ball control, run that clock, and limit Eagle possessions that way. And they've got to eliminate penalties. And again, it's really about raising their expectations. What are you gonna tolerate as far as your performance? And they want to eliminate those penalties and eliminate the mistakes. Justin Kinsey, in his first season at Riley, a start of 0-2, and a team that's making progress. Chuck?
Riley has just won the toss and elected to defer, so Adams will receive and be looking into the sun on this east-west field as we look at the series history, and it's a rich one here between these two old South Bend rivals. This is the 78th meeting between these two schools in a rivalry that goes back to 1941. Riley has the advantage in part thanks to a narrow 20-19 win last September at School Field. And weather, oh my goodness. Get the Chamber of Commerce on this one tonight. There's not a cloud to be found in the sky over the bend. 73 degrees, a gentle zephyr out of the northwest at 12, and there is no chance that Antoine Jones or anybody else here will see a drop of rain tonight.
And playing on real turf, that's going to be important because those jerseys can muddy up in a hurry, but we're excited about it. Folks, want to tell you that it's time now for a check on the uniforms for tonight's game, brought to you by St. Andrews Products. First, for the visiting team, the Adams Eagles. They'll be in the white jerseys with blue pants and blue helmets. And for the home team, the Riley Wildcats, they are all in blue jerseys, blue pants, and blue helmets. These teams look great tonight, and St. Andrews Products can do the same for your team. Reach them at sales@standrewscorp.com.
So Derek Dieter for St. Joe County Commissioner sponsors the Riley kickoff. And the Cats will put it on the toe of Ryan Kingston to start it off. The dynamic duo of Chuck Worsham, number 4, and Sidney Jeffries, number 2, back deep for the Eagles. And it's another Friday night of high school football on TV 46. Jeffries backs up inside the end zone for the touchback, so Kingston will force the Eagles to start 1st and 10 at their own 20 in our first quarter tonight, brought to you by the South Bend Community School Corporation. You're looking at Gavin Pulling, the quarterback of Antoine Jones' offense. The 5'10", 185-pound junior has been dynamic rushing the football this year. He's only completed 4 out of 12 passing, but he has 3 touchdowns in those 4 completions.
Always tough to handle that kickoff when you're looking into the sun. And, well, we'll give those shadows maybe a good half hour, 45 minutes. They'll be covering the entire field.
By the way, our thanks to the John Adams High School Boosters for sponsoring our live stream tonight. So whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or the IHSA Champions Network, welcome to another edition of the 46 Game of the Week. Pulling has Worsham to his right. And the snap to Pulling, running a power sweep around the right side. And he will get taken down after a pickup of about 3 on the play by a host of blue jerseys. Sylvester Orozco was over there to help make the stop. Let's meet the Adams Eagles offense tonight. We told you all about Pulling and Worsham and Jeffries. Keep an eye on James Jordan, pretty dynamic rusher as we saw in game 1. And the offensive line has been the big story. 2 freshmen with Auden Jones and Sean Brown joining a veteran unit, and they have been running the ball at will. 377 rushing yards per game. The snap comes directly to Chuck Worsham. He tries to jitterbug his way up the middle of the field, and that's not going to work against Commander Jenkins and that Riley defense. In fact, let's meet the Cats right now, because along the front line, a pair of quality defensive ends in Lee and Rhines. Lee going to Western Michigan. The linebackers headed up by Jenkins and Orozco. If you're going to beat Riley, you might be able to beat him deep. It's a young secondary. Chris Krause and Isaac Taylor, a pair of sophomores back there.
Riley obviously did their homework, Chuck. They've got this team well scouted.
3rd and 6. The snap comes. They give it to James Jordan on an end around. He's got the first down and more. Jordan bulldog down at the 35-yard line. The Adams first down sponsored by First Source Bank. We told you he was dynamic. We saw him convert a 3rd and 25 against Washington on opening night. They ran the same play to the other side this time, and he had a convoy of blockers out front.
Good pickup and the first down of the ball game for the Adams Eagles.
Now the snap to Pulling, and the quarterback tries to cut back to his right, weaves his way through traffic for about 8 yards. A fine run by Gavin Pulling, perhaps better known before this year at Adams as a baseball player, but he played last year when Ira Armstead got hurt, and that quarterback experience has helped him quite a bit.
11 yards on his first 2 carries, and Chuck, he did right there what we saw in the first game. It seemed like he made some penetration, and then he accelerates, and he's able to get further downfield.
Great block by Auden Jones that time on Tyson Lee to help spring Pulling. 2nd and 2. This time Chuck Worsham with the direct snap. Gets around 1 tackler. Couldn't get around them all, though, and I think he stopped short of the first down by about a foot. Plenty of people over there, included David Soleil, the linebacker, who came up with a hit, as you'll get another look here on the Aegis Dental Group replay. Worsham forced a little bit wider than he wanted to go, and then Soleil and company were there to make the stop.
Now keep an eye on what Adams is doing here. They needed 3 plays for their first down. They're going to get a chance to get another first down. It runs the clock, and it eliminates what Riley wants to do.
Although Riley doesn't mind if Adams has to grind it out. They just want to stay away from the big play. Pulling has the first down and more as he goes across midfield into Cats territory at the 47-yard line. Orozco brings him down, but not before another First Source Bank first down. You'll get another look here from Aegis Dental Group.
21 yards already for Pulling tonight.
And again, that big offensive line. You got Caleb Rauch, 260. Nolan Rose, 305. The center, Josh Thompson, 265. And then those 2 big freshmen with Brown and Jones. They got some beef up front for the Eagles, and they use it well. Here's the snap to Worsham. Cut it right back up the middle, and he's got the first down into Riley territory. James Pruitt with the stop. First Source Bank sponsoring another Eagle first down all the way down to the 33, and you'll get another look from Aegis Dental.
14-yard gain on that play for Worsham.
Well, Sidney Jeffries did a nice job getting out front and blocking from the wing spot that time. If you can have wide receivers who invest in blocking as well, you're going to have a successful run game.
51 yards rushing on this drive already for Adams.
DeMond Holloway takes the carry for the first time tonight. Holloway weaves his way around the right side for a pickup of 5. A lot of blue jerseys gang tackling that time. But Riley unable to thwart this Adams running game from getting positive yardage almost any time they want.
Pick up about 6 yards on the play, 5 yards.
We'll call it 5 as the stop was made by Trevor Jester that time, the 6'1", 180-pound freshman. A lot of freshmen playing on both sides tonight in this one. Direct snap comes, and Adams on the run. Again, another first down. This is Davion Patterson with his first carry of the night. He'll take it all the way down inside the 20 to the 19. Another first down sponsored by First Source Bank. O'Reilly wanted to make Adams grind it out, and Adams says, we can do that. Look at the surge from that offensive line.
Another solid gain. About 7 yards on the first down.
I asked Antoine Jones what facet of the game impressed him with his team, and he talked about the aggressiveness they have, and it shows here on this opening drive. Holloway, again, big hole up the middle, gets about 6 that time, so lay in on the stop.
Holloway carrying the ball.
Man, right down the field, and again, no mistakes.
Adams has not turned the ball over very much this year. They had a couple of problems with snaps on opening night when we saw them against Washington. But Damon Holloway on the carry there, and now you've got the combination of Pulling and Worsham back in the game. And it's Worsham. He gave it to Jordan on a little end around, and that's going to be an Adams touchdown. Chuck Worsham to James Jordan for 13 yards and a touchdown, and the Eagles are on the board. And you'll get another look from Aegis Dental Group. This would actually, well, it's a handoff. It's not a pass, so it'll be a run for Jordan. But the misdirection really fooled the Cats that time, and that is an impressive opening march by the Adams Eagles.
Really solid performance, and again, no mistakes, no penalties, no holding. A lot of discipline out there.
Adams High School sponsors the extra point of Cohen, and it is blocked as it goes into the back of one of his linemen. But John Adams marches 80 yards in 4 minutes and 29 seconds, and they cap it with his James Jordan end around, a fine block by Claude Neely, and the Eagles lead it 6-0 on 46. This edition of the 46th Game of the Week brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. Hey, we get it, because we live here too. Good crowd on hand, as best as you can hope for in these times of social distancing. Technically, the place is sold out tonight, even though there's lots of empty seats. It's a 6-0 Adams lead with 7:31 to go in the first as you look at Cohen, who will do this kick sponsored by John Adams High School.
Just a different attitude for the Adams Eagles this season. You know, they're getting ready to kick off, and some of the guys on defense haven't seen a snap yet tonight, but they're eager to get it going.
On a completely different game plan for Adams, too, this year. We'll talk about that after the Cohen kickoff. It's bouncing off an Adams player and picked up in mid-stride. How about this? Doug Adams takes it all the way down to the 47-yard line. Boy, the alertness of Adams that time to pick up the ricocheting ball and just take off running.
About a 40-yard return, as it turned out. You might have to put that in the playbook.
The ball hit Chris Krause right in the face, but Adams played it like a shortstop, even though he's better known as a basketball player, and ran it all the way to the 48 as you take a look at Austin Karszewski, the quarterback of this Riley offense, completing 40% of his passes. But that's number is a little bit skewed too, because he's had a lot of passes dropped so far this year. The snap, and they give it off to Chris Krause, and Krause picks up about 2 on the play before he is flattened that time by Jeremiah Love. Let's meet this Riley offense, and along with Krause, you've got the commander in the backfield, Commander Jenkins. The receivers are pretty good. Xander Ward, Sylvester Orozco, we told you about. Tyson Lee heads up that offensive line, along with David Soleil and Bernard Hoffman, the seniors in the group. Give them 2 on the play. It's 2nd and 8. Karszewski with a split backfield. And he'll give it off. And I believe that's Antoine Simpson on the carry. It is, and he stopped right at the line of scrimmage. No room for the diminutive sophomore to run, thanks in part to this Adams defense, which hasn't given up a point all year. You've got the freshman Auden Jones leading things up front, along with Cody Barnes, the senior, with 3 sacks. Good linebackers, Patterson, Love, Needley, all very aggressive. In the secondary, Chuck Worsham has an interception. DeMond Holloway, a senior who was a quarterback last year. It's 3rd and 8.
Still get some snaps this year. Antoine's found a way to use all of his talent and use it well.
Ethan Witz and James Boyd off to the left of Austin Karszewski. And the Riley quarterback wants to throw on 3rd down and completes this first down pass all the way down to the 36-yard line as he got it out to James Boyd. And Boyd makes his first catch of the season. The 6'1", 185-pound junior was wide open on this one as you get another look from Aegis Dental. And Karszewski showed a very good arm there, Bob.
He sure did, and nice pickup, about 16 yards on the play.
If the name Karszewski sounds familiar to Adams fans, well, you had a quarterback named Frank Karszewski a few years ago. That's Austin's 3rd cousin. By the way, Frank Karszewski is in town tonight, but not here at Jackson Field. He's the quarterback coach for Indianapolis Cathedral, which is taking on Penn over at TCU Freed Field.
Hey, we get a chance now to thank one of our great sponsors tonight, and the guys really enjoyed the food from Bonnie Doon, the original Bonnie Doon's on Lincoln Way. Has all your favorites. Stop by this weekend for delicious Bonnie burger, fries, and a shake. For 82 years, Bonnie Doon has been part of the community. Great food and rich, creamy ice cream make Bonnie Doon a favorite for a cool treat. Open this season until November 1st. Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way in Mishawaka.
As you look into that pile right there of the Riley huddle, you have to realize this is a bit of a family affair at Riley. Justin Kinsey, the interim coach, has an uncle, Brian Burkhart, who was a head coach at Adams, and his late brother Brian was a head coach at Washington. So football runs through the blood of the Kinsey family.
It certainly does, and get a chance at halftime to find out just how many relatives are in this game tonight. We'll meet the Lee cousins.
1st and 10 with 5:36 left, first quarter. Karszewski hands it off, and there's not a whole lot of running room for the Riley backs. Antoine Simpson picks up about 3 on the play before he is flattened that time by Davion Patterson.
Chuck, it looks like in the running game for Riley, execution is pretty good, but all you got to do is miss one block or miss one player, and he can make the tackle, and that's why some of the running plays have broken down. But seems like they got a good attack.
There was a slightly injured Adams Eagle down on the field, but he got up and was able to leave under his own power. So they've reset the play clock here as Riley thought that there was going to be an injury timeout. There's not. And the official goes ahead and starts the play clock.
I'm thinking that scoreboard will be easier to read once the sun goes down. What do you think?
Well, we have it for you down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen on the Intera Credit Union scoreboard. Karszewski looking at 2nd and 6. Adams, well, you could say they were coming on a blitz. They were trying to time the signals of Austin Karszewski, and the second-year starter read that situation beautifully and gets Adams offside.
First penalty of the game, Chuck.
Watch Adams coming on this blitz, and there was no stopping James Jordan that time. He was coming no matter what.
Easy call for the officials on that one.
We'll meet our crew on the next penalty. That one was too easy. They don't get recognition for that. 2nd and 1 now for Riley, trying to answer the opening score by Adams. Karszewski gives it off, and the carry made by the Commander Jenkins, who picks up the first down for the Cats. He takes the ball across the 25 to the Adams 24. Jenkins only had 6 carries so far this year, but he's a load. 5'10", 220 pounds, and the senior. I watched him come out to practice this week, and I thought, well, this is one of the linemen. Oh, no.
Another first down for Riley. They're finding a way, Chuck.
First and 10 for the Cats. Got Simpson on the left of Karszewski, Kraus to the right. Karszewski looks to throw, has time, now flushed out of the pocket. Keeps the feet moving and fires, and it's incomplete. Karszewski was looking for Ethan Witz that time, but threw it a little too far for his receiver.
I like the fact that they passed on first down. You know, the last time they passed was on third down. It's a must-pass situation for them. But they let him loose that time to look downfield, and incomplete, but he had some time. Made a good escape from the defensive front.
Good feet. Karszewski was working on that a lot at practice this week. And then the ability to throw on the run is key as well, and he was able to do that as well. Second and 10, though. And let's see if Adams tries to change some things up defensively here. Karszewski will hand it off to Chris Kraus. He's trying to get around the outside, but look at all those white jerseys, and he keeps going backwards. Kraus finally banged out of bounds by Chuck Worsham, but took a loss on the play of about 4. It'll be 3rd and 14, and if you're Chris Kraus and you see this many white jerseys in front of you, I don't blame you for keeping the feet moving.
No question about that. Derek Dieter is a Republican running for St. Joseph County Commissioner in District 2. Derek has been serving the community since 1975 and now wants to continue as your county commissioner. It does not matter what party you're affiliated with. You can vote your party and still vote for Derek Dieter on November 3rd. VoteDieter.com paid for this message.
3rd and 13. Karszewski to throw. Has time in the pocket. Now he'll scramble. He's got room to run. And finally taken down at the 22-yard line, as Adams was finally able to come over and land a good stick on Karszewski that time.
Taking a couple of pops so far tonight.
Cody Barnes, the defensive end, got him on the hip, and Karszewski was lucky to hang on to the football. So 4th down, and it looks as though Riley's going to try a long field goal here. This would be a 40-yarder off the foot of Ryan Kingston. Kingston missed a field goal attempt last week against John Glenn. The snap is good. Kingston's kick is on its way, and it is good. Ryan Kingston from 40 yards away gets Riley on the board, and you'll get another look from Aegis Dental Group, 6'4", 180 pounds, and tell me there aren't some places that would like a kid that can boot a 40-yarder.
Outstanding execution, the hold and the timing, everything. Boy, that thing made it with probably 6-8 yards to spare.
So Kingston gets Riley on the board. It's a 6-3 game. And a little head slap from Austin Karszewski that time for Kingston.
Standing play. That was great to watch. Riley High School was honored as the PLTW Distinguished School Recognition for 2019-2020 school year. The PLTW recognition program is designed to honor districts and schools committed to increasing student access, engagement, and achievement in their PLTW programs. These districts and schools are empowering students to thrive in an evolving world, have achieved exemplary results from their PLTW programs.
By the way, the Riley field goal sponsored by Derek Dieter for St. Joe County Commissioner, as is this kickoff by Kingston. Well, he put the first one in the end zone. Let's see what he does here. 40-yard field goal. Got him on the board. And this one's a touchback as well, as it sails right over the head. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20, but that didn't make any difference to Adams on its opening possession, as the Eagles marched 80 yards in 11 plays and took about 4.5 minutes off the clock. Then Riley answers on that drive, and they took almost 4 minutes off the clock. So Justin Kinsey get a little bit of his wish early on here, Bob, in that they're limiting the possessions of Adams, and they were able to finish the drive with points.
Well, and Adams with a 6-3 lead, but boy, both teams have had to earn everything they've gotten so far here tonight.
So 1st and 10 from the 20 for Gavin Pulling and Chuck Worsham in this Adams' backfield, and we'll see what kind of changes Riley is able to make along the defensive front to kind of thwart this surge that Adams is getting off the ball.
Eagles went 12 plays in their first drive, 80 yards, didn't throw the ball.
Pulling had to reach to his right to collect the snap. The baseball acumen comes through there, and he picks up about 2 or 3 on the play. Tyson Lee, the last man up from the pile. Lee led the Riley defense last year with 46 tackles. Riley lost a lot of talent to graduation. Their head coach last year, Jarvis Edison, working on completing his master's degree. Didn't feel like he could work on that at the same time as coach football, so he took a year of sabbatical. That's why Justin Kinsey is in to run the program this year. Kinsey was the defensive coordinator last season. Ball dropped in the backfield. Adams gets on top of it, but we'll be looking at a 3rd and long. Chuck Worsham not able to corral the snap, but he was able to fall on the football. As you get another look from Aegis Dental Group, sometimes when you're trying to put that man into motion right away, he doesn't look the ball in.
No, he got a little excited about the opportunity ahead of them.
So Adams will take a timeout here with 2:54 to go in the first quarter and a 6-3 lead.
For over 60 years, industry has relied on the great team at Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT is the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. The medical, automotive, and defense and aerospace challenges have built our legacy. Reach us at iftworldwide.com. At IFT, we'll work till you're finished correctly.
As you look at the Riley huddle, probably expecting a passing situation here on 3rd and 14. And for Gavin Pulling, well, he's only 4 of 12 throwing the ball this year, but 3 of those 4 completions are touchdown passes. So something dynamic could be happening right here for the Eagles if they go to the air.
Well, what a night for football. You know, the first couple of nights, first 2 weeks of the season, we were concerned about the kids getting some rest and some water. Not a problem tonight.
Perfect night to play. 3rd and 14, Sidney Jeffries split wide. The snap to Pulling. He does want to throw. He wants to throw for Jeffries, and Jeffries was behind his man, but Pulling overthrew.
First pass of the night for Pulling.
So 4th down and a punting situation here for Adams. Damon Holloway does the punting for the Eagles. And let's see if Riley can make something happen here on special teams.
Well, if they do it like they did on the kickoff, could be a magic moment.
Robert Nabeau, a speedy freshman, is back deep at the Eagle 45. Holloway looking into the sun, takes the clean snap, but he put it right up the elevator chute. Riley will get away from it, and the ball dies at the 32-yard line, and the Cats are sitting in great field position. Let's go downstairs to Bo Hunt for a Bills Heating sideline report, more like a bleacher report where Bo is tonight to stay off the track. But, Bo, your thoughts on this one through the first 10 minutes?
Well, I think a lot of it on that first drive by Adams, you know, their offensive line is just so big, and they're able to move that defensive line of Riley and really get a lot of possession and a lot of yards before the running back even hit the line of scrimmage. And then after that, you know, Riley got a little bit of field position, got a little bit of momentum, and I think momentum is really going Riley's way at this point. Adams' offense is kind of sputtering, guys.
Adams still yet to give up a touchdown this year, and Chris Krause isn't getting anywhere near one because he got smashed that time. Krause is slammed to the turf by the Adams defense.
Like maybe a little loss on the play.
Absolutely. Coming over was Brandon Taylor, the big 6'2", 260-pound senior, and that was quite the move, flying through the air.
Worship on his last 2 carries has had negative yardage.
So 2nd and 12 here for the Riley Wildcats, back at the Eagle 34-yard line.
Sorry, that wasn't Worship. It was Krause that's had the negative carries.
Karszewski will hand it off here to Antoine Simpson. Again, trying to get around the outside. Cody Barnes with a one-hand tackle that time. Barnes able to get there and grab the very diminutive Simpson, who only weighs 140 pounds, by the shirt and use some of Antoine's own momentum against him.
Loss of another 3 yards on the play. Riley was fairly close to field goal position when this drive started at the 32. Now they find themselves back at about the 42.
Yeah, they'd have to pick up a few yards here. They're looking at 3rd and 14. Ethan Witz and Camden Hanks are the wideouts. Karszewski throws over the middle. He wanted Sylvester Orozco, and very good coverage on the play that time by James Jordan to help break it up. It's 4th down and decision time for Justin Kinsey as you get another look at Jordan's coverage here.
Yep, Eagles were there. Folks at St. Andrews Products, your expectations become our standards. We have the finest promotional products, advertising specialties, business gifts, and apparel. Our team handles all embroidery and screen printing in-house to guarantee quality and timely turnaround to meet your needs. At St. Andrews Products, our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
So it is 4th and 14. Play clock down to 3. Karszewski gets the snap away, but he's under pressure. Claude Neely couldn't get him. Karszewski just throws it away. That's intentional grounding. Doesn't matter. Ball will turn over on downs. And Adams' defense sets up the Eagles in very good field position.
Really did. There was just nobody in the territory when he threw the football, but he had to do something. He's taken a couple of hits already tonight. So the ball goes over to the Eagles, and they'll take over at about the 42-yard line.
They'll spot it at the 37 here.
I'm sorry, 37. You know, in the artificial turf, you get good numbers that last all season.
Well, the hash marks will become more visible as it gets a little bit darker here at Jackson Field.
Yeah, look at the shadows almost out to midfield.
Still minute 24 to go here in the first quarter. And let's see if they mark off the intentional grounding penalty here. The flag was thrown all the way back at the 48-yard line, and the referee waving his crew forward here. And that's where they're going to spot this football, is at the Adams 48, it looks like. Patrick Faust, Bruce Hershey, Michael Kelly, Jay Miller, and Jeff Meyer working on the crew. And they actually mark it off 5 yards from there, so Adams will take over in Riley territory at the 47-yard line. That was a very costly intentional grounding penalty by Karszewski.
Big momentum opportunity here for the Eagles.
In retrospect, you should just say heave the ball to the end zone, see if something would have happened, but it's high school. Kids are learning. Here's Worship trying to get to the outside. Sylvester Orozco chases him down after Worship picks up about 3. Orozco, who's getting recruited by schools like Trine, and Xander Ward was out there as well. But Worsham has had to make some dandy one-hand grabs on those snaps tonight.
6 carries for Worsham for 14 yards.
I would say that they've done a really good job controlling him since he was averaging 15 yards a carry coming in. 2nd and 7. It's pulling this time right up the middle of the field. Again, it's Orozco on the tackle, but this time Pulling's able to go forward for about 5 and set Adams up for a 3rd and 2. And in this offense that Antoine Jones is running now, Bob, it's very similar to what we used to see from teams like New Prairie or what we'll see next week from Mishawaka. 3rd and 2 is the gravy train. They love that.
It really is.
Snap drop by Pulling, and he's got a fall on it before, again, who else? Orozco comes in and does the damage. It's a loss of 5, and Antoine Jones will have some time to think about what he wants to do on 4th down as the first quarter comes to an end at Jackson Field on the south side of South Bend. The Eagles got on the board first. It was James Jordan on the end around to the end zone, but Ryan Kingston followed with a 40-yard field goal, and it's 6-3 Adams after 1 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. Well, it's a bleacher report tonight for Bo Hunt rather than a sideline report. And Bo, your thoughts on the first quarter here. Earlier you were talking about the momentum that Riley had. It looked like Adams grabbed it back briefly.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things with Adams is they're just hurting themselves, and a lot of it is some of the snaps that they have. If you notice, and we saw that the 2 weeks ago when we did their game, was they have the two running backs in the backfield / quarterbacks, and the center has a job to actually snap it directionally to either one of those guys, and he messed up just a few times, or maybe the running backs just don't quite get it, and there's a quick snap right there again, guys.
And coming to the outside, Gavin Pulling, and Pulling's got the first down. It's sponsored by First Source Bank as he goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So the Adams quarterback comes up with a big play on 3rd down and 7 and picks up about 8.
Pulling now with 31 yards rushing here in the first half. In the first quarter of our game tonight, Adams accounted for 75 yards. Now, they had an 80-yard drive, but then they had some negative plays with the fumbles. And so they ended up with 75 yards. Riley with just 14, and again, some negative plays for the Wildcats.
Again, it's Pulling and Worsham in the backfield. This time it's Worsham. He cuts it back inside. Chuck Worsham still on his feet. Look out. He'll go. Touchdown, Adams. A 37-yard touchdown run for Chuck Worsham. And the Eagles are on the board again. His 6th TD of the year. And watch the cutback behind Sean Brown that time. And another big block up front by Caleb Rauch.
51 yards rushing here in the first half now for Worsham after that big dash for a touchdown.
Adams will go for 2 here to try to get it back to the standard touchdown numbers. Remember, Cohen missed the first PAT. It's Pulling, giving it to Jordan on the counter, and Jordan spins forward. Did he get in? No signal yet from an official. And he did not get in. So the Riley defense is able to hold on the 2-point conversion. And Bob, let's get one more look at this replay from Aegis Dental Group and the stiff arm by Chuck Worsham at the end.
I remember the first game we did watching Worsham carry the ball, Chuck. Strictly north-south guy. He's not looking to cut it outside. He's not looking to get an advantage. He will run right up the middle. Reminds me a little bit of the guy that's in the bleachers tonight, Bo Hunt.
Well, this is a guy that's very hungry to play. He missed last year with a leg injury, and he told me this week that football is really his favorite sport to play. He's been playing it since he was 3 years old.
Well, 5'11", he might be a better football player than basketball on that team at Adams. Folks, at John Adams, they are A-rated. John Adams High School is home to a diverse student body of more than 1,900 students. Adams students have the opportunity to participate in the International Baccalaureate Advanced Placement courses, dual credit courses, and career and advanced placement courses. Dual credit courses and career and technical education courses as well. The graduating class of 2020 saw students attend more than 65 unique universities, and graduates earn more than $11 million in grants and scholarships. Congratulations, and go Eagles.
Cohen's kickoff, sponsored by John Adams High School, is brought back to the 30-yard line by the Riley Wildcats. It was Doug Adams again on the return. So good field position for Riley, but they find themselves in a 12-3 hole here. And they'll need Austin Karszewski in this offense to get jump-started here.
Done some good things tonight. Need to just get some continuity going.
They had a golden opportunity on that last possession when they took over at the Adams 32. Instead, they went backwards and set up the Eagles for a short field for their touchdown drive. Karszewski and company going into the setting sun here at Jackson Field. Karszewski hands it off. Chris Krause finally with a little bit of running room here as he's brought down by Jeremiah Love and James Jordan. But That's the best hole that Kraus has had to run through tonight. He picked up 6.
And they got the momentum going the other way, and he was able to cut back, did a nice job.
Kraus had an electrifying touchdown run last week, ran for 122 yards on 14 carries in that loss to John Glenn.
That puts Kraus back on the positive side with yards gained tonight.
Riley looking at a 2nd and 3. Do you let Karszewski throw here? They split Orozco way out wide to the left. Instead, he almost dropped the snap, but Kraus makes a beautiful cut and gets a Riley first down up to the 46-yard line. Chris Kraus is only a sophomore, 5'8", 165 pounds. But you can see what they like about this young man. Watch these nimble feet here. That is a heavy grass field out there tonight, Bob. I walked out on the field before the game, and I thought that I was going to sink down into that thick grass. That you would definitely be familiar with grass like this. It's called the rough.
The rough, yeah. I specialize in rough on the golf course. But what a beautiful job they've done here with the facility. And our thanks to the ground crew here that's done such a great job, and also to the administration for both teams helping us with our broadcast. It's a tough time, and they've come through for us.
We've got a whistle blown. All kinds of finger pointing on both sides. And who jumped first?
Folks, the John Adams High School Boosters wish all of the best of luck to all of the Eagles student athletes, and good luck throughout the school year. The Boosters provide support for all 19 John Adams athletic programs through concession sales, spirit wear sales, also sports banquets, and many other areas. Visit their website at johnadamsathletics.com for more information.
So a 5-yard penalty assessed against Adams. And for Riley, this has to be a welcome change of pace, seeing the other team get the penalties, because a week ago, the Riley Wildcats had 17 penalties in their loss to John Glenn.
That's a lot.
By the way, you might think that's tops for the week in the area. It was not. More about that in a moment as Chris Kraus takes another carry and has a first down. The elusive little sophomore takes it up to the 36 of Adams, and the Cats are on the move. You'll get another look at the replay. Let me answer the penalty question here as you watch the moves of Kraus. And a really good block by James Pruitt there. But Northridge last week in a win against St. Joe, had 18 penalties. 9:55 to go, and apparently it's time to get going to Canada for some people.
Well, they're coming back. Maybe they think it's getting colder. In Mishawaka, they call those the hooses.
Well, they're definitely northbound.
That's right. Folks, SBAA is a proud champion for extracurricular activities in the South Bend Community School Corporation, and they've supported students for over 3 decades. Last year alone, they gave over $30,000 in scholarship money to graduates of South Bend schools. Learn more and get involved by visiting their website at southbendalumni.com. What a terrific group.
Well, as Antoine Jones tries to settle down his defense on the other side and get some better play from them, look at the reversal of fortune there has been for the Adams Eagles this year. Last year, they only scored 14 points a game, gave up 40. This year, they're scoring over 41 points a game, and coming into the night, they hadn't given up a point. The Ryan Kingston field goal, the only points allowed by the Eagles so far. They have not allowed a touchdown in their first 9 quarters.
Yeah, that 3 spot on the board, a little upsetting.
Crooked numbers, not something that they're used to there at Adams this year.
They're now averaging 1 point a game.
So Austin Karszewski looking at a 1st and 10. Karszewski will give it away, and Antoine Simpson wishes he had given it to somebody else. Davion Patterson and the Eagles defense close with a vengeance.
Simpson is quick, but boy, when they get there in a bad mood, he doesn't have a whole lot to battle him with.
Actually, it was Chris Kraus who had the carry that time, my mistake. So Kraus got the handoff and then got dumped by Patterson. This is a very solid linebacking core for Adams this year, and they've got some size in there too. Patterson and Love, both 215 pounders. 2nd and 11. Karszewski to throw. It is complete, but then stopped right away as he dumped it out there to Sylvester Orozco, making his 8th grab of the year. And Orozco, who had a TD against Adams last year, just had nowhere to run after the catch. Pickup of 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Riley now 2 out of 4 passing tonight for 17 yards.
First pass Karszewski threw tonight. He had plenty of time and he let go of a rocket. But since then, the pressure has been a little more intense from Adams, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a blitz here from Antoine Jones. Play clock at 2. Karszewski just does get it off. James Williams was coming in a hurry, and he winds up overthrowing his man. James Williams, the big 6'3" senior defensive end, got in the face of Karszewski that time, and Karszewski just unloaded the ball where he knew nobody was going to pick it off.
Well, when you're throwing an out pattern, you want to make sure that if anybody catches it, it's your guy. Otherwise, it could be 6 the other way in a hurry. Folks, Riley High School's Computer Science and Engineering Magnet program has been a leader in South Bend for STEM education for the last 15 years. We offer a wide range of dual credit, AP and college level computer science and engineering courses designed to prepare students for careers in STEM and beyond. We connect students to internships, colleges, and jobs that prepare them for careers in their chosen fields.
Riley will take a timeout, and so will we. 8:20 to go here in the second quarter. Cats trying to get back in this one, trailing Adams 12-3 on 46. And this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Aegis Dental Group. Trusted dentistry. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, and Bo Hunt back with you. Reminder, you can check out our website, WHMETV46.com. We're in the process of redoing that whole site, hoping to add some features to that. And, of course, the Game of the Week. Friday nights at 11 and Saturday mornings at 9 has been a tradition. But lately, Bob, people have been responding to our live streaming, sponsored tonight by the John Adams High School Athletic Boosters, and especially in this year of COVID where people can't go to games, what a blessing that has been for many folks.
Those who are in attendance tonight are well spaced. They're doing a good job and wearing protective masks. Everybody trying to do all they can to keep our community safe.
So Riley has decided to punt here. Ryan Kingston had to really float back to haul that one in, but then he gets off a beauty. He'll try to pin Adams inside the 10, and he does as he gets a coffin corner kick out of bounds at the 5. What a beautiful kick by Kingston. 32 yards net, but that's exactly what they were looking for there.
No question about it. And he got it out of bounds, so there's not going to be a return. But, you know, you look at the negative, Adams is deep in their own territory. But, boy, wouldn't Antoine Jones love to have a 95-yard drive here in the later portions of the first half.
Let's give you a couple scores from around the area. Marion with a 21-7 lead on Bremen. Now it's 28-7 in the second quarter. Peru leads Tippecanoe Valley 7-6 in the second. Elkhart's Lions. Ooh, I came close there, Bob.
Yeah.
Elkhart's Lions lead Columbus East 21-7. That's early in the second.
That's a good score by Elkhart. Columbus East, not a bad ball club.
1st and 10 for Adams at its own 5. And not any room to run there for Gavin Pulling, as the Riley defense was right there, and Commander Jenkins roars in from the linebacker spot to make the tackle. He had some help from the defensive line, though, as Trevor Jester got in there.
Well, Adams was second down and about 10, and Chuck, they might unleash that passing game a little bit. They've got a couple of quality receivers at tight end and wide receiver.
2nd and 9. Man in motion, although it's dropped. Worsham is running to the outside, and Isaac Taylor forces him out of bounds at the 7-yard line. That was nearly a disaster for the Eagles.
Wow. That would have been their third fumble of the night. Now they've recovered the first two, but they got to be a little more careful with the football.
This is a bit of a high-risk, high-reward offense that Adams is running here. And you saw the risk in evidence right there. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 8. The thing about Adams tonight, though, Bob, they have been able to get out of these 3rd and long situations. Riley has not made them pay a price for these.
We haven't seen the 2 quarterbacks set up much tonight.
Gavin Pulling trying to get around the outside. Commander Jenkins and Sylvester Orozco give the old, shall we say, 1-2 punch. Those are their uniform numbers, and they came up and they met Pulling right there. At the 5, a loss of 2 and a punting situation for the Eagles.
The Riley defense really came ready to play tonight.
So now the Eagles will have DeMond Holloway punting literally from the shadow of his own goalpost here.
And the receiver for Riley inside Adams territory at about the 36-yard line.
Holloway able to just get that punt out of there. A nice run on the plate up to the 20, fielded at the 26. And then Kai Whitlow, a freshman. A lot of freshmen playing for Riley tonight. And Whitlow comes up and returns it to the 17. And man, are the Cats in business thanks to their defense.
Well, we thought this might be a good one. You know, Adams had been really rolling, but they're in our keys to win. We said the only team that has stopped Adams this year has been Adams, and they've done it a couple of times tonight.
Couple of big special teams plays for Riley tonight. They've definitely had the check mark in that category. Now we'll see if Karszewski can help punch him into the end zone here. Robert Nabu lines up in the backfield along with Chris Kraus. And it is Kraus who gets the handoff, and then he gets hit hard by Davion Patterson and picks up about 2 on the play.
Some of the plays that take just a little too long to set up have been opportunities for Adams defense. They've got some size, they've got some quickness, making some good stops.
So it is 2nd and 9 at the 16 as we approach the midway point of quarter number 2. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, our TCU Student Athlete of the Week feature. And this week, it's got a little bit of a special twist to it.
We made history this week.
Karszewski wants to throw. Unloads, and it's too high for Ethan Witz. So Karszewski has been getting some pressure tonight from that Adams defensive line, and it's forced him to throw high. Bob, when you throw high, sometimes it nearly gets picked off.
It can be dangerous. He's 2 out of 6 so far in the ball game for 17 yards. TCU understands the importance of growing your future, whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business. TCU is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit TCUnet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they are an equal housing opportunity lender.
So 3rd and 9 for the Wildcats. Karszewski will hand it off. Chris Kraus on the run. Kraus did not get to the first down marker. He stopped at about the 12. And again, a decision time for Justin Kinsey. He's looking at a 4th and 4 here. A field goal would bring him within 6, and he's going to send out his field goal kicker, Ryan Kingston. Kingston hit a 40-yarder at the other end earlier tonight. This one would be from 30 out of the hold of Austin Karszewski.
And those shadows are covering the kicking area, so no problem with the sun here.
Kingston, 6'4", 180-pound junior. The snap a little high. The kick is on its way. Oh, that's a beauty, and it is right down the middle. Ryan Kingston has been the star of this one so far for Riley. His 2nd field goal of the night. You'll get another look from Aegis Dental Group. Bo Hunt, I know you did a little bit of kicking in your time. How tough is this when the hold is high and the timing's thrown off to kick as well as Kingston has tonight?
Well, I think the biggest thing is what he did on that one there is once you start your motion, just go through it and just expect that ball to be down when you're kicking it. And he did that exact same thing. Trust your holder, trust the ball's going to get down, even though it's a high. Once you hesitate, then you're going to throw your rhythm off, and then you're just going to shank it off to the right or left. But he did a great job. As once he started his motion forward, keep going and trust your holder.
So in other words, Bo, give a lot of credit to Austin Karszewski for the hold that time.
Yeah, exactly.
5:47 to go. The kick was sponsored by Derek Dieter for St. Joe County Commissioner, who also sponsors this Riley kickoff.
He does, and great to see that photograph in the South Bend Tribune this week. His son Gary Dieter got his Super Bowl ring from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, that had some largesse to it.
Yeah, Dad's going to help him carry it.
Kingston has had 2 touchbacks so far tonight, but he sends this one down to the 5-yard line, and it just dies. Picked up by Sidney Jeffries. Jeffries trying to weave his way through traffic, but the Cats are there to stop him at the 20, and Kingston is doing a marvelous job on special teams tonight.
Boy, he really has. What a weapon. And if Riley could get a stop here, touchdown and extra point would give them the lead. But right now, Adams needs to get their program going here. They've been very powerful, very effective early in the season. Let's see if they can put together a good drive here.
Here's the problem as I see it, Bob. Riley has seized momentum, but the inability to get in the end zone should continue to give Adams confidence here. Maybe not false confidence. They're only up 6, but they haven't had to operate from a deficit yet.
A wise man once said the only thing worse than no confidence is false confidence. We'll see what happens here.
The snap to Worsham, who tries to run patiently, but there was no hole to be opened up. Commander Jenkins comes in and makes the tackle after a pickup of 2.
Chuck, in the first broadcast we did this year with Adams Eagles handling Washington, we lamented a couple times about how they wouldn't give the ball or wouldn't pass the ball to some of their top receivers, and they've got some good ones.
We were looking at Tyson Lee there a moment ago. He just turned 18 on Wednesday. Justin Kinsey cannot say enough good things about that young man. Pulling, trying to set the line in front of him. Wonder if the Eagles might go to the air here on 2nd and long. It's Worsham trying to run right up the middle, carrying tacklers with him. Look at the strength of Chuck Worsham as he'll set it up for a 3rd and 1 after a pickup of 7. Boy, that's the impressive thing about Worsham, Bob. I talked to him this week. Not that big a kid, 5'11", 175 pounds, kind of your standard issue high school kid, but man, does he have some strong legs.
He really does, and worked very hard on it in the offseason. He's so excited about being healthy that he's doing a great job for Adams. And speaking of Adams, John Adams High School has earned 3 straight A ratings by the Indiana Department of Education, and recently was named the only school in the state of Indiana with a majority-minority student population to earn the top 50 state ranking by U.S. News. Adams is extremely proud of its rich athletic and academic traditions for the past 80 years. Visit adams.sb.school for more information.
You see the measurement wasn't really that necessary. It looked like the sticks were right on the yard line. They're just a tad short, but obviously the ball about 2 feet short of a first down, so it'll be 3rd and very small here for Adams. Indianapolis Cathedral off to a 13-0 lead right now on Penn at TCU Freed Field. You got to give the Kingsmen credit for this. They are playing as challenging a schedule as you possibly could. They played the number 2 team in 5A in Valpo, the number 1 team in 5A in Cathedral tonight, and next week they'll play the 2nd-ranked team in 4A when they go to East Noble.
That's a load.
Also at halftime, Jimtown leading Osceola Grace 34-0, so it appears Corey Stoner is on his way to his first win as Jimmy's coach. 2nd quarter, Lakeland on top of Prairie Heights 8-7 in the battle for the milk can. Here's the snap to Pulling right up the middle for a first down, sponsored by First Source Bank. As the freshman James Boyd brought him down. And it'll be a first down. You'll get another look. Again, a pretty nice seam for Pulling to run through there.
36 yards rushing for Pulling here in the first half. It's a nice balance between Worsham and Pulling.
Antoine Jones took Washington to Lucas Oil Stadium back in the early part of the 2010s. Now here's James Jordan trying to run around the outside, and Tyson Lee will have none of it. Lee comes in and makes the hit behind the line of scrimmage. And his mom believes, just like Blue Oyster Cult, that deserves more cowbell. James Jordan tried to get away. Lee got him by the jersey, and that was it. He is a big, strong young man at 6'3", 245. That's a loss of 2 on the play.
He'll be a good Bronco. Western Michigan happy to have him coming their way.
I bet you Trevor Andrews smiles when he sees that one. He is the area coach who helped recruit him, the brother of Nate Andrews. Gavin Pulling trying to get away and nothing doing. Riley's defense reading the plays well right now. That's Trevor Jester, another freshman who comes in and makes the hit. This is a Riley team that is playing a ton of young kids right now, and they've shown why they're on the field.
Well, really aggressive defensively, and got the Eagles in a 3rd down and 13 situation.
Has Pulling thrown a pass tonight yet, Bob?
Pulling is, so far tonight, 0 for 1.
We'll see if he goes to the air here. Seems to be a lot of confusion for Adams, and Antoine Jones will take a timeout with 2:31 to go in the half. Critical 3rd down coming up here for the Eagles.
Well, maybe a chance for our crew to run back downstairs and get some more of that great food from Bonnie Dunes. They did a good job of feeding our crew tonight. We appreciate that very much. I also want to tell you that Derek Dieter is a Republican running for St. Joseph County Commissioner in District 2. Derek has been serving the community since 1975 and now wants to continue as your county commissioner. I tell you what, it does not matter what party you're affiliated with, you can vote your party and still vote for Derek Dieter on November 3rd. This announcement provided by Dieter.com. VoteDieter.com.
Well, next week we go down to Fisher Field in Warsaw for what will turn out to be Mishawaka's debut in the Northern Lakes Conference. The Cavemen couldn't play tonight because Goshen had a case of COVID that caused their team to be quarantined. So Keith Kinder's team will make his NLC debut against his former boss, Bart Curtis. That game could be done in an hour and a half, folks. You better make sure you tune in quick because there ain't going to be a whole lot of passing in that one. Mishawaka and Warsaw next Friday night, 11, Saturday morning, 9. And you'll see it live at 7 on Facebook, YouTube, and the IHSA Champions Network.
Keith Kinder was mentored in large regard by Coach Bart Curtis, and they have a great relationship and a lot of respect for each other, but they're going to send their troops out there to do battle next week, and we're looking forward to it.
3rd and 13 here for the Adams Eagles. Gavin Pulling at quarterback, just 4 of 13 passing this season. He wants to throw here, though. He's got Sidney Jeffries open. He overthrew him, and it's intercepted. Xander Ward with the pick for the Riley Wildcats, and they'll take over near midfield. With 2:24 to go in the first half and 1 timeout remaining, you'll get another look from Aegis Dental Group. Pulling, rolling right, pulled up. He had his man Jeffries in double coverage, tried to throw it away, but Ward playing free safety beautifully.
Yeah, the first completion you have in the night, you don't want it to be to the guys in the all blue, but Riley now with the football right around midfield with a chance and enough time to move it maybe into field goal position again.
Let's give you a couple of quick score updates. Marion pounding Bremen 42-7 in the second in that battle of the unbeaten at Tulski Field. Cathedral now with a 20-0 lead on Penn in the first. Here it's 12-6 Adams. The handoff to Chris Kraus, and Kraus couldn't quite run out of the grasp of James Jordan, but he was able to pick up 6 that time. And I don't know what Riley is doing differently along its offensive line, but they're giving Kraus some room to run right now, Bob.
Kraus is doing a really good job, and he's a solid running back, and it seems like they've got their timing down a little bit. Maybe they're letting Adams get some penetration, then trapping him and getting that move up the middle.
Fairfield now with a 14-6 lead on Central Noble in the second. Second down. And this time it is Another running back for for Riley. That's Robert Nabu, the freshman, and he had nowhere to go as James Williams slammed the door in a hurry, and it'll be 3rd down and about 2. Well, they're going to spot it back here at the 45-yard line, so that makes it more like 3rd and 3.
Coach is using a lot of players, and it's not because the weather is overly hot. It's guys that have earned their opportunity to at least get a look in there.
Warsaw leading Plymouth now, 14-0. That game in the second at the Rock Pile, the 101st edition of that rivalry.
I think we've covered all of them, haven't we?
No. Oh. Whistles blown. Chris Krause a little bit upset. He thought he was going to be able to run for a first down. Instead, Riley uses its last time out with 58 seconds to go here in the first half, trailing 12-6.
Pretty good ball game as we had hoped for and thought we might see. And again, congratulations to the staffs of both schools at keeping their guys focused and taking care of business and doing a good job out there. We want to pass along a note to you that Derek Dieter is a Republican running for the St. Joseph County Commissioner in District 2. Derek's been serving the community since 1975 as a police officer, a South Bend City Council member, a coach, and a mentor. Derek believes strongly in family, law and order, and patriotism. Vote Derek Dieter on November 3rd, paid for by VoteDieter.com.
Give you some more scores here. Whitco leads Rochester. Remember, this is Rochester's opener tonight. They missed the first 2 weeks because of COVID. And they are trailing Whitco right now 21-0 at the half. We also have Northridge on top of Wawasee, 14-0 at the half. And Northwood leads Concord 7-0 at the half. Northwood playing that game without their quarterback, Nate Newcomer, who got banged up last week.
That's an impressive first half score.
3rd and 4 for the Riley Wildcats. Trying to get back in this one, trailing only by 6. And they keep it on the ground, but Chris Krause had nowhere to go. Great penetration by Dylan Longbrake and the rest of that Adams defense to stop Krause for a 3-yard loss. It'll be 4th down, and let's see if Justin Kinsey tries to air it out here or decides to send the punting unit on. He's going to send Kingston and the punting unit on.
A lot of negative yardage plays in this game, Chuck. Some have been a result of mishandled snaps and handoffs, but there's also been a lot of really good defensive play tonight. It's been fun.
Riley trying to count up the numbers of that punting unit right now and just letting the play clock go down. They'll take the delay of game penalty here to give Kingston a little more room to work with, and also to take the clock down to 8 seconds left here before halftime.
Coming up at halftime, we'll run down the first half stats. We'll also give you an opportunity to look at some highlights from this first half, and then we'll meet our student athletes of the week, brought to you by TCU. And we've got a couple of outstanding young men representing their respective schools. Looking forward to that.
Plus, for those of you watching on the internet stream, I will delve into the social media to find some more scores for us. Kingston takes the snap and he hangs one out there. And this ball will be dying right at the 21-yard line to end the first half of play. A solid first half for Justin Kinsey and the Riley Wildcats. They've managed to put the clamps down on this Adams offense, and the defenses have dominated on both sides. Adams is yet to give up a touchdown, and they lead it 12-6 at the break. A reminder, our TCU student athletes come your way next on this edition of the 46th Game of the Week.
And welcome back to Jackson Field on a beautiful night for high school football. And we have a chance now to meet our student athletes of the week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today.
Well, we've got a first here tonight. We've got two cousins that are going to be competing against each other, but they're also getting it done in the classroom. We're very proud of their efforts. Isaac Lee is our first student athlete of the week. He's from Adams High School. And Isaac, congratulations on being singled out for your work in the classroom.
Thank you.
Talk about what else you're involved with at Riley as far as other sports and some of the groups that you're with.
I'm involved with NHS and JAVA, which is John Adams Volunteer Association.
And you run a little track?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea either. How long have you been involved with football?
This is my first year, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you. You're making a difference on a pretty good ball club this year. The Adams Eagles came in 2-0. Talk about what's ahead for you, what you'd like to do as far as your next level of academics and athletics.
I'd like to study sports science at Ball State or IU.
Well, we wish you the best there, certainly. You give a shout out and some credit to the people that have helped you along the way.
My mom and dad have helped me the most. So.
How about your cousin?
Are you serious?
He's helped me a lot, too.
Wow.
All right. Hey, congratulations, and we wish you all the best. All right, Isaac Lee, and now we're going to turn to his cousin, and that would be Tyson Lee. And Tyson, congratulations as well for being singled out for the work you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It takes a lot of discipline, doesn't it? A lot of time management to handle everything.
Oh, yeah, it does. It's, class I'm taking right now, it's pretty hard, but, you just got to stay on top of it and make sure, you stay on top of your work.
Now, you're involved in basketball and baseball as well, so you're a busy guy, and you need to be even more disciplined about your time.
Oh, yeah, I got to. I got to make sure I have great time management with everything I'm doing and just making sure I'm staying on top of grades and stuff like that. That's the biggest thing in life.
You're also involved in some other things at Riley. You're working with some young people and making a difference in their life.
So right now I'm in RSAC right now. It's a unified sports program where we try to have mentally disabled kids and bring them together so we can have unified sports in all high schools. And right now we just got our gold banner. Shout out to Ali Fluden for getting it for us, and we're just going forward with that.
Congratulations on that effort. Talk about what's ahead for you. I understand you might be a Bronco next year.
Yes, I am verbally committed to Western Michigan University. I can't wait to go up to Kalamazoo, and I'm going to be studying sports management and sports marketing.
Great. You've had some people that have helped you along the way as well. Give them a shout.
Oh, yeah, my mom and dad, my whole family, you know what I'm saying? They helping on my journey and stuff like that, being there for me. I give a little bit of props to my cousin, you know what I'm saying, my big cousin. He helped me out a little bit here and there, but I ain't going to give him too much.
There you
go. Not today.
Well, congratulations and best wishes in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, Tyson Lee from Riley High School, our student athlete of the week, and cousin Isaac Lee from Adams High School. Boy, this is cool. That's going to do it for this edition of our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. We're back with halftime stats and highlights in just a moment. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for over 30 years. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, and Bo Hunt back with you on a cloudless night at Jackson Field in South Bend. The weather's smiling upon us, and this has been a pretty good tussle between these two city rivals, Adams and Riley, meeting for the 78th time. The Eagles on top of the Cats by a count of 12-6. And, Bob, your thoughts on this first half?
Well, going into the ballgame, Chuck, it would have been easy to say Adams ought to roll over them. And tell you what, Riley has made improvement each week, which you love to see. And they're playing with some confidence, which, they're down 12-6, and they're thinking, wow, we can get the ball to start the second half and maybe go down and score a touchdown. There's a good look at our facilities here at Jackson Field. And, boy, it's been a while since we've been here, but terrific facility. We got a great game on the gridiron tonight.
In fact, here we are, right up here. Let's show you how it got to be this way at Jackson Field tonight, because in the first half, Adams took the opening kickoff, 11 plays, 80 yards in 4 minutes and 29 seconds. James Jordan with the touchdown. Extra point was missed. It was 6-0. Ryan Kingston answers on Riley's opening drive with a 40-yard field goal, 6-3 at that point. Eagles would get on the board again, a 37-yard touchdown scamper here by Chuck Worsham. Nice stiff arm of Isaac Taylor right there. Eagles had a 12-3 lead, but Kingston comes back. Great hold by Austin Karaszewski. Hits a 30-yarder, 12-6. And then the defense came up, forcing the only turnover of the first half, as Xander Ward will pick off this Gavin pulling pass. And it's 12-6 Adams at the half. Fairly even game on the scoreboard. What about on the stat sheet, Bob?
Well, you got to love Adams' running game, 144 yards here in the first half. The problem is they only had one completed pass, and that was to the enemy. They only turned over the first half, and that set Riley up for an opportunity. But Riley has had a little bit more maybe in the way of balance. They got 51 yards rushing, 17 passing. But the plays in the first half, 32 for Adams and just 26 for Riley. And the time of possession obviously favoring the Adams Eagles. But Chuck, 12 points out of all that possession time. Riley has done what they needed to do, and that's limit the possessions, but at least limit the score for Adams.
The folks from Adams can't be too dissatisfied. They're up 12-6, and Bob, some people think that we're hungry for airtime, and, well, maybe we are. 12-6 the score at the intermission. Stick around with us on Facebook and YouTube. I'll have scores from other games. Hey, that's Bob Nagel. I know him. Back with more after this.
Yeah. Hey there. How you doing?
I know those of you who are watching on our live stream tonight have been begging behind the scenes, Dean, for scores. Well, here we go. Halftime at Otulski Field. Marion leads Bremen 49-7. They'll have running clock the rest of the way in that battle of the unbeatens. Cathedral is pounding Penn 27-0. It's second quarter at TCU Freed Field. Fairfield leads Central Noble 14-6 second quarter. Warsaw and Plymouth have gone to the half. The Tigers lead the Rockies 14-7. Halftime at Andrews Field in Napanee with Northwood on top of Concord 7-0. Also halftime in Rochester, Whitco leading the Zebras 21-0. Another halftime score. Northridge has held Wawasee to negative yardage in the first half. The Raiders of Tom Wogeman leading that one 14-0. Second quarter, Kankakee Valley with a 14-0 lead on South Bend, Washington. They're at the half in Columbus, and Elkhart leads Columbus East 27-7. Folks, the Lions are for real. Halftime in the battle for the milk can, and Lakeland leads Prairie Heights by a count of 8-7. Third quarter action down in Bourbon. Caston leads Triton 6-0. Second quarter, a little bit of a surprise here. Culver on top of Knox 14-13 in the second. First quarter, Chesterton with a 7-0 lead on Michigan City, and perhaps the stunner of the night so far. Second quarter, 2-0 John Glenn trails 0-2 St. Joe, 27-0 in Walkerton. Big night for Asante Anglin and the Indians so far. So those are our scores here at Jackson Field. 12-6 Adams on top of Riley. The second half comes your way in a little bit here on our Facebook, YouTube, and the IHSAA Champions Network. Friends, this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're locally owned but nationally known. 12-6. Adams has the lead on Riley at the half. We go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline/bleacher report. Bo Hunt in the stands tonight. Your thoughts on that first half?
I thought it was a lot of what I expected out of this game. You know, just a rivalry between the two teams, kids growing up with each other in a grade school, you know, relationship playing on each side of the ball, people related to each other. There's a lot of emotion that goes into a first half of this football game. The second half adjustments are what I'm really looking forward to seeing out there, of what type of offense is Riley going to come out with, because they really weren't able to move the ball. They were fortunate to have great field position that Adams gave them a few times. And Adams, they seem like they can move the ball, but then they shoot themselves in the foot a few times here and there, guys.
So what kind of adjustments do you expect, Bo?
I think for Adams, they're going to get back to their basics. They're going to do a little bit more physical up front. I think that's one of the things that Coach Jones wants them to do, is be more physical up front. And with Riley, I think they just need to be motivated in the second half. You know, saw what happened last week. They were up in the second half. One little thing happened, and then they lost that motivation. And they just need to stay motivated. I mean, they're one score away from winning this game.
Indeed they are, and their special teams have been terrific tonight. Ryan Kingston, not only with the 2 field goals, Bob, but pinning Adams down to the 20-yard line every time he's kicked the ball, 2 with touchbacks and 1 by just putting the ball there. And his punt that went to the 5-yard line forced Adams to operate from back there. They got pinned in, and that set up his second field goal.
Well, if we had to talk to a player of the game right now, it'd probably be Ryan Kingston, and he's done a really good job, been effective. A lot of times in our games, we talk about the statistics, but those things are the measurements that you don't really take into account unless you've been watching the game. But he's been a big weapon for Riley, and Riley gets the football here to start the second half, and an opportunity, as I said, with a touchdown and an extra point. Who knows? That score gets around, and people will be saying, hey, how about those Riley Wildcats?
Riley honored 2 people who passed away this week before the game. One is the little 7-year-old, Cyrus Stevens, who was gunned down at a birthday party. A very sad, tragic event. It was a surreal scene when I went to Riley practice this week because they were practicing right across the street from where a memorial was being held for Cyrus. And Justin Kinsey just gathered his team around, told him he loved them, and told him what a blessing that they have to be able to play football, especially at a time where there's so much tragedy going on in this world. And then the other person that they honored tonight that we want to give a shout out to as well is Ray Comer, a terrific basketball official, ICCL official, worked with John Byers in the South Bend Parks Department many years, putting on softball tournaments and things like that. Ray was in more places than grass. And tell you what, he was beloved by the officials community. When I went to the wake earlier this week, just so many of his fellow Stripes out there paying honor to him. Our thoughts are with both the Stevens and the Comer families tonight, and I thought it was very classy of the folks here at Riley to take some time out and honor them before the game.
And Ray was a great mentor, especially to young officials, helping them get involved, and just in honor of Ray Comer, maybe you'll consider becoming an official. We need officials for football, basketball, volleyball, wrestling. If you're interested, contact the St. Joe Valley Officials Association, and they'll get you set up and give you an opportunity not only to help the sports and keep the sports alive, but make a couple of bucks. Not a bad way to go on a Friday night.
So our third quarter tonight, sponsored by the South Bend Community School Corporation, and John Adams High School sponsors this Cohen kickoff. That'll spin all the way down to about the 16-yard line, and that's where it's taken by Doug Adams. Adams tried to cut upfield, but slipped on the grass. That might be getting a little dew on it right now, and went down at the 27.
Pretty good momentum, and then we tried to cut back.
That might have looked a little bit different on the turf of School Field, don't you think?
It might have at that. I'm just thinking about tomorrow morning. If you're hitting a golf ball out of that stuff, it's...
Again, I told you, conditions down on the field, very similar to where you hit the golf ball.
Good point. 27-yard line, not bad field position to start.
Let's see what Austin Karszewski and the Cats can do on their opening possession here of the third quarter, trailing by 6. Chris Kraus on the handoff, trying to get away, and gets a block on the outside. Kraus gets a first down with that opening carry. A nice little power sweep for about 13 for the sophomore Kraus, who has had a nice night running the football, Bob.
He really has. He's up to 48 yards rushing tonight, and been pretty steady. He had a couple negative. He had the one fumble that was. He had to kind of fall on. He's taken a couple of hits for negative yardage, but for the most part, he's been pretty reliable. And right there, just a nice explosion.
Freshman Robert Nabu threw not one but 2 blocks on that play to help spring him. There's an Adams player injured over on the other sideline. That's why it's taken a little while to set the chains here. Play clock down to 1, and they give it to Kraus again. And Kraus spins to the inside and gets absolutely leveled by Caleb Rauch, the junior.
Maybe a short gain on that play.
In fact, Kraus lost his helmet on this hit, and he'll have to leave the game for a play. Watch here as Rauch comes over, and some helmet-to-helmet contact there that caused the helmet to fly off of Kraus's hair. Rauch is a big kid, 6'3", 260-pound junior. Size is not a problem on this Adams team.
No, it is not. And they worked really hard in the offseason conditioning as well. The team is in great shape.
Austin Karszewski draws his third offside penalty against Adams tonight, and that'll take it from 2nd and 7 to 2nd and 2. What a great change for Riley.
Yeah, Adams with those 3 penalties, total of 15 yards. Not a bad total, but Keeps drives alive when you get a chance like that.
Karszewski showing the savvy of a veteran quarterback, 6'3" senior. He's got a pretty good arm. He hasn't really had a chance to showcase it much here tonight. Will they try to air it out? Nobody's covering Orozco right now. Jeffries will come out and get him. But they'll keep it on the ground, and a first down for Riley and Moore. Robert Nabeau lost the ball out of bounds, but after he got the first down right at the midfield stripe. Nabeau seeing his first action of the year. He finally has his 10 practices in, and he wanted to make sure he didn't fumble, but then, well, he fumbled anyway.
Good gain, good first down on the carry.
Sidney Jeffries was able to disrupt Nabeau that time, and still a first down for the Cats, right at the midfield stripe. The handoff to Commander Jenkins, and Jenkins, the fullback, weaves his way for 7. James Williams finally threw him to the turf, but a big run for Jenkins, and you can sense Cats are a wee bit fired up right now.
Using everybody in that backfield, and Adams is really not expecting that particular carry, but 6 yards and good first down carry.
James Pruitt had to limp to the sideline, so Cameron Hugel, a 6'2", 315-pound junior, will come in at the guard slot. 2nd and 4. Hugel got stood up on the play, and so did Chris Krause. Nolan Rose, all 305 pounds of him, comes roaring across the defensive line, and there's another Riley player injured on the play, and I believe it's Hugel.
Loss on the play of what, a couple of yards? Be 3rd down and a long 6.
So the trainer will come out to have a look at Hugel here with 10:01 to go, 3rd quarter. We'll take a break. Back with more after this. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technology, saluting the players, coaches, and all the team members who work so hard to be successful. At IFT, we put our team to work for you, setting the standard for metal finishing solutions. Reach us at IFTworldwide.com. Like the teams in this game, we are working for a great finish. Chuck, Bob, and Bo back at Jackson Field on the south side of South Bend. Hugel was able to go off under his own power. Big 3rd and 6 right here for the Riley Wildcats. Orozco only has 1 catch for Riley tonight so far. High snap, Karszewski in trouble. Cody Barnes gets him back at his own 43. The high snap disrupted the timing, and Barnes comes in and gets his 4th sack of the season. You get another look from Aegis Dental Group.
Karszewski had nowhere to go there. Good to hang on to the football, and with the weapon they have with their punter, their kicker tonight, they should get a chance to put Adams back in their own territory. I was thinking, was that 4-down territory? Probably not with a kicking weapon like they've got. They put the ball out of bounds last time inside the 10.
Now the snaps to Ryan Kingston have been a little bit slow. Let's see if Adams tries to bring some pressure here. They're not lined up as though they will. And Kingston is able to get this one out of there. It's a rolling kick. It'll be fielded at the 15, and Sidney Jeffries thrown out of bounds by Sylvester Orozco. So another great job by Kingston, a 38-yard kick with no return. And Adams is pinned inside its 20 again, and there's some chirping going on both sides right now.
Probably checking out where they're going for pizza after the game tonight, Chuck.
I'm not sure that's the discussion right now. I don't think the officials would worry about the local restaurateurs and what kind of trade they're getting after the game.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to one of the teams that really helped us again this year. It was a face mask as a penalty, and the walk-off will come up. We want to thank St. Andrews Products for helping our crew look good, and they look great tonight. They're ready to do the same for your team. Reach them at sales@standrewsproducts.com with all the top lines in apparel, business gifts, and advertising specialties. We're ready to help you with your school or company. At St. Andrews Products, our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
Hard to see just where the face mask was there, but certainly the way Sidney Jeffries went out, they wound up calling that a 15-yard penalty against Riley. That's their first of the night. Now the Adams sideline showing a little bit of juice, up 12-6. It's a big penalty. It gets Adams out of the hole. Pulling calls the signals at quarterback. But it's Worsham again, dropped the snap. And Orozco was there. Ball came loose. Did Riley get it, or was he down? They said that Worsham was down. No gain on the play, but another bobbled snap disrupting the timing of the play.
First time we saw Adams this year, they completed their first pass, and it was knocked out of the hands of the receiver by Washington. So they have been a little bit susceptible to giving up the football, and they came close that time.
Looking at a 2nd and 10. Pulling this time takes the snap, very patiently weaves his way for about 4 yards before Tyson Lee drags him down. Lee, as you heard, going to Western Michigan, also a member of the basketball team at Riley, and received an IHSA Sportsmanship Award last week. There was a player from John Glenn who was injured, and Tyson went over, told him he would pray for him, and actually was able to tell me Wednesday how the young man was doing. So that was great to hear. 3rd and 5. Pulling again, has the ball, but not the first down. He is stood up by Jalen Rhines, a yard short of the sticks. Well, Antoine Jones is a gambling man. Let's see if he takes the gamble here on 4th and 1.
Well, what a big play for Riley. And you just had a feeling that if Adams could get some momentum and use the clock and get down there and maybe get in the end zone again, but Riley came up with a big stop right there.
4th and 1. I think Antoine Jones has a lot of confidence in this offensive line. Justin Kinsey wants to put as many people in the box as he can.
Adams over 100 yards rushing just with the quarterback and Worsham.
Worsham got around the outside. He's got the first down, sponsored by First Source Bank, as he goes up to the 47-yard line. Trevor Jester got there, but too late.
Big 4th down conversion. 66 yards on the night now for Worsham. 45 yards so far tonight for Pulling. Also got 34 yards tonight from Jordan. They got 7 yards from Peterson. Been a pretty balanced attack again for Adams. It's one of the things that stood out first time we saw them.
New set of downs, 1st and 10, approaching the midway point of the 3rd quarter. Pulling, trying to work to the outside. He could not get around the big man, Tavares Townsend. The 6'1", 245-pound freshman put one of those beefy cat claws out there and hauled him in.
Freshman? Wow. 47 yards now for Pulling.
Watch the power here of Townsend. Come on back here, Mr. Pulling. And
he was pulling on him, wasn't he?
Townsend was doing some pulling of his own. Yes, 2nd and 8. Riley putting 7 in the box here. Low snap to Worsham, but he's got room to run. And he stumbles his way up close to the 45-yard line. And once again, Adams will be looking at a 3rd and 2 situation. And man, these are money calls for Antoine Jones right now.
Worsham did a nice job there. Wasn't much in the original attack, but he's up to 72 yards now in the ball game.
So looking at a 3rd and 2. The snap to Pulling. Big stack in front of him, and he drags Trevor Jester for the first down, sponsored by First Source Bank, up to the 40-yard line. Again, the leg drive that Adams is getting, and you can tell the winter program for Adams was very successful this year. They got some people into the weight room.
Yeah, there's guys that like to walk around with their biceps and everything being flexed, but I tell you what, you get that lower half going, and that is so important when you're looking for leverage, especially in the line play.
Here's the snap to Worsham. Nice cutback. And Worsham slithers his way up the field to about the 31-yard line, just short of the first down. Bo, what are the kind of workouts that the typical winter conditioning program for football will do for players as we go to Bo for a Bills Heating sideline report?
It's not just football players, it's all athletes that don't necessarily play a winter sport and doing those winter conditionings. It's just that extra work and getting your body in physical shape and getting it stronger for the season. I mean, that's one of the biggest things is the off-season workout programs in high school, college, whatever it is. It needs to be done regardless of if you're playing sports or not. You need to get, or 3 sports or 2 sports, you need to get those winter workouts in because it's really important for your body to sustain the necessities of the physicality that the football game puts on you throughout the season, guys.
And perhaps a little fatigue along that Adams offensive line. A mental mistake there will cost the Eagles 5 yards. And so instead of that easy 2nd and 1, they're looking at a 2nd and 6 right here.
Adams with 20 yards in penalties on 4 calls. Pretty solid night as far as that performance goes.
Pulling now on the carry. And Trevor Jester wraps him up again. Boy, what an impressive performance by this freshman tonight. There are all kinds of good 9th graders on the field for both of these teams tonight, but Jester has stood out perhaps as much as any of them, using some strength to pull down, Pulling again. And it's 3rd and 6.
Another big play in this ball game, but Chuck, as you said, Antoine doesn't mind going for it, so we're probably in a 4-down territory for Adams right now.
Absolutely. DeMond Holloway wants to throw. Pulls up, he's looking deep, and it's beautiful coverage by Xander Ward. He was with Sidney Jeffries step for step. And now a little bit of yakking between everybody. And David Soleil says, just go on back there, Sidney.
Yeah, it was about a 45-yard pattern and a well-thrown ball, but when you're looking at 3rd down and 6, maybe you run a little curl over the middle with that big guy. They've got some really good receivers, and Isaac Lee is a good receiver at tight end.
Antoine Jones loves his hands. He has not had a catch this year. This might be a time to think about it here on 4th and 6. They've also had success with that little counter play to Jordan tonight. But Antoine Jones wants to talk about this critical 4th down call with 3:14 to go in the 3rd. Adams getting a challenge from Riley, up 12-6 on 46. This edition of the 46th Game of the Week brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. We get it because we live here too. Quickly downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo, you picked up something in the last couple of plays here.
Yeah, Pullman and Worsham both are not in the game, sitting on the sidelines, just standing there behind Coach Jones. Not sure what's going on, but they were not in there on that third down play, and they're not back in here on this fourth down play as well, guys.
Indeed, DeMond Holloway is in the game next to Davion Patterson. Holloway wants to throw again. Fires out there, and it's incomplete. Isaac Taylor, though, is going to be called for pass interference against Isaac Lee because Taylor never turned around.
And that's a tough situation for the defensive back because the receiver had to stop and come back for the ball, and when he did, you'll see the ball a little behind him. And so when he tried to come back and get it, the defender was there.
And because Lee was knocked down by Taylor, that made the call all the easier. Justin Kinsey doesn't like the call, but there's Chuck Worsham over on the sideline right now, maybe getting a little bit of rest.
He's got 16 carries so far in the ball game, so he's probably been popped a few times, and never know when they've had Holloway in there at quarterback, Chuck, they've thrown the ball a little bit, so maybe they think he's the better passer.
And that's a big pass interference call. 15-yard penalty will be a first down for Adams, sponsored by First Source Bank, and it brings the ball all the way down to the Riley 21-yard line. So a huge third down or fourth down conversion there for Adams.
51 yards in penalties now for Riley.
Holloway staying in the game along with Patterson. Bad snap. Patterson in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll get stood up and taken down. James Boyd does the job there. And it's a big loss. It'll take it all the way back to the 29. A loss of 7 on the play.
It's Patterson back at 0 yards on the night. He had a first carry for 7 yards. It's all evened out. I just can't say enough about the Riley defensive attack. And not only are they getting there in good shape, but they are very fundamentally sound on their tackles.
Much as we thought at the beginning of this game, neither team's record necessarily indicative of what to expect tonight. Now Worsham buries his head and goes forward as he's back in the game, and a helmet comes off there, and if that's Worsham's, well, he'll have to come out for a play. Nope, he's still in there, but he's a little slow to get up right now with a cramp.
85 yards on 17 carries for Worsham.
And boy, you could really see that calf flaring out right there as we zoomed in close. So a calf problem for Chuck Worsham will send both teams to the bench and give Bob a chance to thank one of our sponsors.
Well, I want to thank the John Adams High School Athletic Boosters. They wish all of the Eagle student athletes good luck throughout the school year. The Boosters provide support for all 19 John Adams athletic programs through concession sales, spiritware sales, sports banquets, and many other areas. Visit their website at johnadamsathletics.com for more information.
Here's a fun fact about the Adams Eagles. Now, their home field is School Field, so they don't play over here at Jackson Field all that often. But do you realize Adams has not lost at Jackson Field since 2006. Last year when they lost to Riley, that was at School Field. They have not come to this facility and lost in 14 years.
Wow. That's just a short bus ride.
They might want to start thinking about playing their home games here.
That's right. Boy, what a facility. Got School Field, we've got this field, we've got Clay Field. Clay, by the way, was expecting maybe they weren't going to play this weekend, but they were able to get their game with Munster underway tonight.
So far, let's give you some updates on some other scores from around the area. Winnemac, John Hendricks making his debut there. They lead North White 35-0 at the half. Cathedral leads Penn 42-7 at the half. Fairfield has taken a 20-6 lead on Central Noble. That's in the third. West Central leads Tri-County 14-13 at half. Tippecanoe Valley now with a 14-12 lead on Peru. That game in the third quarter. Whitco has extended its lead over Rochester to 28-0. That game also in the third quarter. Here, 2:07 and counting to play in the third. Adams on top. Gavin Pulling wants to throw. He pulls the trigger. Sidney Jeffries has it. Touchdown, Adams.
What a target.
Sidney Jeffries with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. And the Eagles are on the scoreboard again. Take another look from Aegis Dental Group, working right in front of Xander Ward, who couldn't knock it away. And Jeffries used those strong hands to go right on into the end zone.
And that was a 15-play drive, Chuck, and it ate up a lot of that clock here in the third quarter. What Adams really needed right there.
DeMond Holloway, the holder for Cohen Cohen. The kick sponsored by John Adams High School. The snap is clean. The kick is up, and it is no good. He missed it off to the right. And so Adams will keep a 12-point lead here at 18-6. And we'll get another look at the Pulling to Jeffries combo one more time. We told you earlier, Pulling had only thrown 4 completions this year, 3 for touchdowns. The ratio has just improved to 4 out of 5.
24 yards on the completion. His first completion to the night to a guy in his own uniform. But very effective play, and boy, he's an impressive athlete. Runs the ball extremely well. And maybe the best thing that he does is he leads the team. He's a terrific leader out there for Adams.
Pride of Christ the King School up on the north side of South Bend.
Couldn't get him into Corpus?
Didn't have the grades. No, I'm just teasing. Teasing.
How about those St. Joe Indians tonight? You know, we're looking at a chance to have them on later in the year, and they're being very impressive tonight.
They're up on John Glenn, a team that had been undefeated, a team that beat this Riley squad last week 24-14. And St. Joe is now up in that one by a count of 27-0. Also, fourth quarter, Northwood leads Concord 14-6 on senior night at Andrews Field.
Wow.
Here's Cohen Cohen with the kickoff, sponsored by John Adams High School. Doug Adams has had all the returns for Riley tonight, but he won't return this one because it goes way out of bounds. And so Riley will start with great field position up at its own 35-yard line.
Well, 1:55 left to go in the third quarter. They've got time to go down there and cut into that 12-point deficit.
Bremen has closed the gap on Marion, trailing 49-20 now in the fourth quarter.
You know, Chuck, you mentioned it was senior night at Northwood.
Yes. A lot of teams having senior night early this year.
Yeah, you're not sure if we're going to be playing in 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully everything will continue as it's been, but you want to give those seniors a salute when you can.
Elkhart leading Columbus East 34-14. That ball game in the third quarter down in Columbus. By the way, that is Elkhart's longest road trip they have taken for a football game since 1952, when John Janaszak took the Blue Blazers to Mattoon, Illinois for a contest.
Wow.
Short little 202-mile trek from the city with a heart. 1st and 10 for Austin Karszewski and the Wildcats. They give it to Chris Kraus on the ground. A little stutter step move by Kraus, and he'll pick up 6 on that one. I like the way he's run the football tonight.
You too, and again, that's an offensive line that has made some progress, but has more progress ahead of them, but they're doing a good job here tonight.
Remember, this Adams defense still has not given up a touchdown this season. Almost 11 full quarters of play so far. So Riley has its work cut out for it, trailing by 12.
Adams has some athletes in that secondary. Wow.
Here's the handoff to Robert Nabu, and he is brought to the earth by Davion Patterson. Pick up a maybe 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 3. So Nabu is a freshman. Trevor Jester is a freshman. Marcus Henderson, the principal's son at Riley, a freshman starting on the offensive line. A lot of ninth graders contributing for this squad.
Well, that Henderson name, it's pretty respected athletically as well.
3rd and 3. Kraus trying to cut to the outside, and when he tried to cut one more time in front of Claude Neely, he slips and falls for a loss of 4. 4th and 7, and the punting unit will come on for Riley. And we'll see if the Cats just let the quarter clock expire here They do not have to get this kickoff before the fourth quarter comes to an end.
Krause has been effective, but again, the conditions have deteriorated a little bit with the dampness on the field, and he's tried to cut back a couple of times and taking himself down.
So the quarter clock comes to an expiration here to end number 3 at Jackson Field on the south side of South Bend, where emotions run high in this intercity rivalry. The 78th meeting between Adams and Riley has the Eagles flying high, leading 18-6 on 46. Folks, this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by the Jordan Auto Group. It's simple, it's easy, it's stress-free. It's just like a Bo Hunt Bills Heating Sideline report. Bo, through 3 quarters here, pretty tight battle, but the Adams Eagles on the brink of going 3-0. How good do you think this Adams team could be?
Well, I think it depends a lot on their senior leadership, but also a lot about their underclassmen, as you talked about. A lot of freshmen and sophomores out there playing for this team. They have to really strive and really follow some of those leaders that are out there, those upperclassmen, and sky's the limit for them. I mean, looks like they're going to possibly go 3-0 and, you know, have a lot of momentum going into this season, guys.
Ryan Kingston's kick runs into a Riley player, David Soleil, right around the 35, 36-yard line. Riley trying to say it touched an Adams player, but that's not going to be what the officials see.
Another quality kick there with no return. 39 yards.
Well, we talk about Adams perhaps going 3-0. Fairfield looking to go 2-0 tonight. Matt Thacker, what a job he's done with the Falcons, the former Warsaw offensive coordinator. And he has them on top of Central Noble tonight 26 to 6 now in the fourth quarter. Also in the fourth, Lakeland leads Prairie Heights 15-7. That, of course, Bob, the fabled battle for the milk can.
Well, yeah. What a facility they've got over there at Prairie Heights, too. Had a chance to go over and watch one of the scrimmages earlier this year, and doing a great job, really committed to the young people in their community.
Ryan O'Shea trying to pick up his first win as the Lakers head coach. 1st and 10 for Adams with 11:52 left, trying to put some more cushion between them and Riley. It'll be Sidney Jeffries taking the ball in the backfield, and that's not going to work out very well. Trevor Jester gets him wrapped up, and a flag comes in behind the play. Could be a hold, and it's a block in the back against Adams.
Well, if the Eagles could put together a time-consuming drive, they could wrap this thing up. Folks, I want to tell you the South Bend Alumni Association supports extracurricular activities that are no longer tax-funded, so that students have the opportunity to fully develop their skills and talents and become productive members of our community. Since 2014, the SBAA has given over $500,000 to schools for those extracurricular activities. Learn more and get involved by visiting their website at southbendalumni.com.
Also tonight, Peru leads Tippecanoe Valley 21-12. That game in the third. Now in the fourth, Tri-County on top of West Central, 21-14. Great pork tenderloins down there in Francisville. Here's Gavin Pulling running the football, and another flag comes in, this one from the back judge. And a lot of pushing and shoving going on after the play here.
Composure, fellas.
And Antoine Jones coming out onto the field to yell at some of his players that they need to settle down. Meanwhile, the officials will talk about the flag, but you'll see a little bit of what happened here on the field on our Aegis Dental Group replay. And there's a little elbow there thrown by Pulling, then a shove in the back, another shove in the back. And, oh, there's a little shot by Claude Neely right there with the left hand.
Yep.
And I think that's what drew the ire of Antoine Jones.
You know, one of the things you got to be concerned about, and certainly Antoine is, this team has got a good chance to be 3-0. They got a good chance maybe to make a run at the conference championship, maybe go somewhere in the state tournament. You just can't play that way. You can't have those kind of mental breakdowns, especially in a big game. It might come down to a single play, and if you can't maintain that composure, and that's what Antoine's telling them right now.
Face mask called against Riley. He'll march it 15 yards all the way down to the 45-yard line. But in the meantime, and Antoine is well aware of what you just said, Bob, because he looks at that Northern Indiana Conference North Division that Adams is playing in, and there's not a single gimme win in there. Not with Penn, Elkhart, New Prairie, St. Joe, and Marion.
Pretty tough schedule coming up for Adams, no question.
On first down, Sidney Jeffries runs for another first down sponsored by First Source Bank as he takes it up to the 50-yard line. Bo mentioned the veteran leadership, and Jeffries one of those, a senior on this Adams squad, trying to help the composure for this Eagle squad right now and keep the clock running.
Adams has had a 12-play drive, a 14-play drive, and another one right here would pretty much seal win number 3 for them.
1st and 10. It's Jeffries again trying to run off the right side. He just ran over a couple people to pick up 2 yards that time. And again, a very strong young man, 6'1", 195 pounds, but we saw him make some hits in that Washington game, Bob, that got your attention.
He sure did. And again, a quality athlete. So far tonight, though, Chuck, he hasn't had his interception. He usually gets one per game.
You never know. There's still plenty of time, but Chad Johnston saying, Sidney, please don't get hurt. I need you for basketball. 2nd and 8. It's Pulling this time behind Jeffries, and Pulling gets stood up and drags the tackler with him up to the 44-yard line. That's a great effort there by Gavin Pulling to pick up 4 yards on that play. He looked like he was going to get shut down for about a 2-yard gain, and he has set him up for a 3rd and 5 right here. Watch Pulling. He gets greeted right there by the tackler, but they couldn't wrap him up, and he just kept dragging people with him.
180 yards rushing in the ball game now for Adams. They had 144 in the first half.
3rd and 5, and a key play here for Riley. They need not only a stop, but maybe a turnover to get something turned around here. It's Jeffries. Jeffries did not get the first down. Xander Ward came up and put the helmet into him, and it looked like he got him just before he got to the marker. It'll be 4th and short from the Riley 41. Big defensive stand here for the Cats if they're going to stay in this one. Tyson Lee and company trying to bow their necks and make a big stop.
Nice to see Antoine Jones put together a little series for Jeffries. He's such a good athlete. You want to get the ball in his hands, and if they're covering him pretty well in the secondary, you got to find a way. Got to have some touches.
And you got to think it's going to him here, don't you? No, it's Pulling who got it, and he goes right up the middle of the field for a first down, sponsored by First Source Bank, inside the 30.
13-yard gain on the play for Pulling. I think everybody else, Chuck, just like you were saying, everybody else thought that they were going to give the ball to Jeffries.
And the Eagles fans on the far side, you can hear the roars all the way over here. Adam Bobliani brought him down at the 30-yard line.
68 yards rushing now for Pulling. 85 for Worsham. Pretty good duo.
Jeffrey's starting to rack up his numbers as well. Terrific balance on this Adams team. Weapons all over the field. It's Pulling going up the middle, and he gets stood up by David Soleil right at the line of scrimmage. Soleil, a big two-way player on this Riley squad. But time becoming an enemy of the Wildcats here.
This will be the 7th play of the drive for the Adams Eagles.
Jeffries and Pulling still in the backfield. Remember, Worsham left with a cramp earlier in the fourth. It's pulling up. He wants to go deep. He's got a man out there. Touchdown, Adams. What a throw by Gavin Pulling. What a catch by Brandon Gaudette. Braden Gaudette makes the grab in the end zone for the score, and the Eagles are on the board again. Beautifully executed play by Adams. Run, and then you have Pullen take a couple steps towards the line of scrimmage, pull up, and Gaudette was behind everybody.
Well timed. He was covered pretty well about 10 yards earlier, but he pulled away and the ball just sailed right into his hands.
Cohen waiting for the holder, DeMond Holloway, to come on so he can try the extra point sponsored by John Adams High School. The snap is good, the kick is up, and this one is good. 7:27 to go in the fourth. And Adams looks like it may be going 3-0 for the first time since 2012. Gavin Pulling's second TD pass of the night puts the Eagles up by 19. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by TCU. Grow your future. Visit TCUnet.com. Gavin Pulling making a bid to be our player of the game tonight. The sweat-banded junior with a couple of TD passes, some good running of the football tonight, and has really given great leadership to this Adams team.
He's over 100 yards of offense tonight, and Chuck is, who said coming in, they don't complete many, but when they do, they're usually for 6. He's got 2 completions in 5 tries tonight for 2 touchdowns.
Cohen's kick, sponsored by John Adams High School, goes out of bounds, and so Riley will start at the 35-yard line, trailing by 19 with 7:27 to go. And the Cats looking to do something that nobody has done against Adams this year. Let's score a touchdown.
Kind of like the idea there for the Riley Wildcats and head coach Justin Kinsey, rather than risk, or rather Antron Jones, rather than risk a big return and a chance for Riley to get some momentum, kick it out of bounds. They're going to get to 35, but you don't have to worry about a big play.
Why wouldn't you have confidence in this defense? They've been stellar all season. Austin Karszewski trying to flip his receivers. He's got Adams on the left and Fitz on the right. But he wants Adams over with, he wants him to switch sides.
Probably wanting to know where Jeffers is. He's a big factor, and this is a situation that he loves. This is one of those times when you might wind up with an interception.
So Karszewski, you got to figure, is going to start airing it out here, and indeed on play action he gets sacked. James Williams comes in and does the sack dance in the backfield after a loss of about 10 on the play. Williams slipping right in between 2 players there, and there was nowhere for Karszewski to go.
That's the 3rd sack of the night for the Adams Eagles. We saw them looking like they're putting a couple blitzes together. They got called on the offsides as Karszewski extended the snap count, but that time he had nowhere to go.
And the play clock down to 5. Karszewski will hand it off here to Chris Kraus. Kraus trying to get some running room, but there just isn't a lot of it against this Adams defense. Meanwhile, how about Elkhart? They're going down to Columbus, and they are right now flogging a Columbus East team. 46-21. You got to remember, Columbus East in the past decade, had the most wins of any program in the state of Indiana.
He had some good athletes on it. Blair Keel.
We will see Elkhart in a couple weeks when they face Penn over at Rice Field. 3rd and 14. Hand off to Chris Kraus again, and Kraus tries to cut back against the grain. Jeremiah Love trying to strip him with the football, and some other Eagles take him down at the 40-yard line. That'll set up 4th and 8, and we'll see if Riley decides they got nothing to lose. Oh, a late flag comes in, and it starts to get a little bit chippy here at Jackson Field. Both teams trying to settle themselves down here.
Well, I'm watching Kraus tonight, checking him, thinking if he was running behind maybe a bigger, more experienced offensive line, he's a good-looking running back.
So we've got a shove called against Adams and a shove called against Riley. Offsetting penalties, and they both happened after the play. Antoine Jones wants to know who the culprits are.
Doing an investigation, is he?
Well, he does have the police background, so.
He does indeed. The officials inviting Antoine to get back on the sidelines. While we have a break, I want to tell you how we started our evening tonight with some great food from Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way in Mishawaka. They still have all your favorites. Stop by this weekend for a delicious Bonnie burger, fries, and a shake. For over 82 years, Bonnie Doon has been part of the community. Great food and rich, creamy ice cream make Bonnie Doon the favorite for a cool treat. Open yet this season until November 1st, Bonnie Doon Drive-In on Lincoln Way in Mishawaka fed our crew tonight. An outstanding challenge, and they handle it well.
Riley has decided to punt the ball away with Ryan Kingston here. Line of scrimmage the 40. Sidney Jeffries back deep. And Kingston punting it away from Cody Barnes and away from Jeffries as well, as that ball will die at about the 28-yard line. So a 32-yard kick with no return. And Kingston responsible for all the Riley points tonight as well. Congratulations to Corey Stoner at Jimtown. He gets his first win as the Jimmy's coach with a 56-0 win over Osceola Grace. Meanwhile, as we look ahead for these two teams, Bob, Adams, the road gets a little bit tougher. They go to Father Bly Field next week, take on St. Joe. They'll probably be favored in that game, although St. Joe obviously showing life tonight at Glenn. Then they got to handle this Marion team that is so explosive. And go to New Prairie, where Casey McKim is up on Andrean tonight, and the Cougars could be going 3-0. Riley, it gets easier. Clay comes over here. Now, Clay might be 2-1 when they come over if they get a road win at Munster tonight. They go to Gary West. That's a game they can win. And they go to Washington, which was trailing Kankakee Valley tonight. So, yes, it doesn't look good for the Cats right now. They're on the verge of going 0-3. You can turn around 3 weeks, and they could be a 500 ball club.
And a team that's getting better each and every week.
Here's the snap to Sidney Jeffries, and he buries his head to go right up the middle and keeps on going for about 8 yards on the play before Jalen Rhines, the hurdler from the track team, is able to bring him down.
Jeffries getting a lot of work here in this second half. He's got 17 yards and 4 carries.
And the clock continues to tick, which is the main thing that Antoine Jones wants to see right here.
A couple of first downs could take care of business here in the fourth quarter.
And that will be not happening on this play, as Sylvester Orozco gets in there and makes the stop after a loss of 2 on the play, as you'll get another look at this big hit by Orozco. We haven't called his name much on offense tonight, but he has done a few of these on defense, and Gavin Poling a little the worse for wear after that one.
Again, you're seeing some frustration, I think, on the part of the Riley Wildcats. They came in and, to their credit, weren't afraid of the Adams Eagles and gave them their best shot. Right now it's not good enough, but played hard.
James Jordan on the end around. Rhines knocks him out of bounds on the Adams sideline. but not until another first down sponsored by First Source Bank. Jordan hasn't had a lot of carries tonight, but he did have a touchdown, the opening touchdown of the game, and most of his carries have resulted in either a first down or a touchdown.
41 yards on just 5 carries tonight.
He'll take that average.
Nice weapon.
So it's 1st and 10 for Adams with 4:06 to go. And this amazing turnaround of the Adams football team continues as Jeffries carries and gets to the outside, and look out. Sidney Jeffries in a foot race, and he's finally dragged down from behind on a touchdown-saving tackle by C.J. Alexander. Jeffries takes it all the way to the Riley 18.
40-yard carry.
And give Alexander credit, because Jeffries is a fast man, and Alexander was able to run him down.
Puts the Eagles well over 200 yards rushing tonight.
Well, and that's the point I wanted to make about the reversal of fortune for this Adams team, is they've done it by completely changing their style of game. Last year, it was like a game you'd call El Paso in the backyard. That's all they did. And this year, they run the ball so well. Here's Damon Holloway taking it up to the 7-yard line. Another first down sponsored by First Source Bank.
And a lot of weapons in that backfield.
So it's 1st and goal here. Pulling has already thrown a couple of touchdown passes. And while Pulling isn't going to remind anybody of any of the great arms we've seen in high school football, he throws it well enough to be effective.
When you run it so well, you can be effective. It's 7 different ball carriers tonight for Adams.
Now it's Pulling and Holloway in the backfield together, and it's Pulling going off the right side for a couple of yards. Orozco on the stop. Justin Kinsey said this week, it's like 1930s football, but if it works, why wouldn't you do it?
Why wouldn't you keep doing it?
And that's what Adams has done. They've gone to this single wing offense popularized by a coach in Apopka, Florida, and they've made it work for them.
Getting popularized by a coach here in South Bend this year.
2nd and goal. Again, Pulling and Holloway in the backfield. Holloway couldn't come up with it. Ball still loose, and he finally is able to collect it before Tavares Townsend collects him back at the 9-yard line.
Lost 4 yards on the play. And Chuck, I don't think Adams going to be looking for a field goal here.
Well, Adams has plenty to work on as they get ready for St. Joe next week, and these snaps are one of the things. Congratulations to Matt Thacker and Fairfield, 32-6 winners over Central Noble tonight. Cathedral now leading Penn 45-7, that game in the 4th at TCU Freed Field. Third and goal. Pulling, pulls up, fires to the end zone, wide open, touchdown Adams. Braden Gaudette once again. Gavin Pulling's 3rd touchdown pass of the night, and Gaudette was wide open in the end zone.
Again, a lot of timing involved in that pass and reception.
That was a real good catch by Gaudette with Jalen Rhines running right at him. Cohen on to try the extra point, sponsored by Adams High School. Snap, set down, and kick are all good. And with 1:38 to go, Adams ups the ante to 32-6, and you'll get another look at Pulling's 3rd touchdown pass of the night.
And he is 3 out of 6 passing tonight for 60 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he has 1 pick, but that came late in the half, kind of a Hail Mary pass.
Again, the phenomenal stat on Gavin Pulling this year. He has completed 7 passes, and 6 of them have gone for touchdowns. You know, I used to call Steve Vasturia of the Notre Dame basketball team the baby-faced assassin. Look at Pulling. That is baby-faced right there.
Doing a great job.
His cousin Courtney watching in Vegas tonight.
Hey to Las Vegas, everybody.
And pulling, while he might be wearing number 1, he's been rolling 7s tonight for the Eagles.
He really done a great job. A solid athlete. Again, when you think about the work that was done, you know, you're coming off an 0-10 season. What's your motivation? Well, give them credit. They all looked in the mirror and found out what the problem was.
Actually, your motivation coming off an 0-10 season is you just had an 0-10 season.
Exactly right.
Cohen on to try the kick here, sponsored by Adams High School. Reminder, our fourth quarter tonight sponsored by the South Bend Community School Corporation. We appreciate their sponsorship tonight. Cohen says, I don't want to have to tackle anybody. Kicks it out of bounds. Yes.
Well, the Riley Wildcats will have the football again.
Well, next week we won't see single wing football, but we will see two teams that run the exact same offense, because Bart Curtis used to be the coach at Mishawaka, and then he went to Warsaw, and then Mishawaka joined the Northern Lakes Conference. And a guy that Bart Curtis hired as a junior high coach without a teaching certificate, Keith Kinder, is now the head coach at Mishawaka, and it's Mishawaka and Warsaw from Fisher Field. Friday night, 11, Saturday morning at 9, and live on Facebook, YouTube, and the Champions Network at 7 p.m.
Keith Kinder was doing some work in the newspaper business back in the day, but felt a calling for coaching. He's done a great job, and boy, that'll be a good one next week. Can't wait. Mishawaka and Warsaw.
1st and 10 here for Riley with 1:38 to go. And a new quarterback in the game now for the Wildcats. This is Elijah Taylor. And Taylor taken down right along after about a 4-yard gain that time. So the reserves will fill up the last 90 seconds or so of this one.
Well, the issue's been settled. There's no sense in continuing where things got really heated there in the early part of the fourth quarter, but they're settled down now, and some younger guys are going to get a look.
Well, remember, this was a 12-6 game well into the second half, and then Adams has lit it up for the last 20 points and running the man down from behind and making the tackle for the Eagles. The big fella, Brandon Taylor, 6'2", 280, and he got him from behind.
Chuck, I think I might have given you some wrong information earlier. I'm told now that Andrean is leading New Prairie 21-0.
By the way, congratulations to the Riley boys cross country team. The Wildcats won the city championship last night. St. Joe's girls also winning the city title. Riley with a great distance program at the school. Want to make sure we got that in before the clock expired, which it will after this delay of game penalty.
Bo Hunt's going to have a chance to talk to one of our student athletes tonight.
Probably not up there in the bleachers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is very true. Unless he wants to climb up the bleachers. But
I'm not sure we're going to get Gavin Pulling to make that kind of climb, but he will have earned the honor, and we'll talk to Bo about what he saw from Pulling tonight in our post-game show, which will come your way after this play. Taylor drops back. He wants to throw, and he's sacked by Cody Barnes, and this one belongs to the Eagles. South Bend John Adams is 3-0 for the first time since 2012 as the Eagles come to Jackson Field tonight and beat their city rival, the Riley Wildcats, by a final score of 32-6. Stick around. We'll have some post-game for this one after this on the 46th Game of the Week.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by
Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, and Bo Hunt back at Jackson Field, where the Adams Eagles have defeated the Riley Wildcats 32-6 tonight to go to 3-0 on the year. Are there things Adams could work on? Sure, and that's what Antoine Jones is telling his team, but what a great start on the east side of town. And Bo Hunt, normally you'd get a chance to talk to our player of the game, but since you are in the bleachers tonight, that's not a possibility, but you got to be impressed with number one from Adams, Gavin Pulling, the quarterback.
Yeah, as a running back, I love pulling guards. Well, Gavin Pulling, close enough, man. What a great game out of him tonight. On the ground and in the air, 70 yards rushing, 22 attempts. Just a great job of really being that leader out there that this Adams Eagles team really needs. And in the air as well, 50% passing. You're going to be like, the 3 for 6. But you know what? All 3 passes for touchdowns, just on the money, dropped dimes in there. Just did a heck of a job tonight leading this Adams Eagle team to 3-0, guys.
Well, and really, Bo, taking over from Ira Armstead at the end of last season, how much do you think those couple of games of experience that he got with the offense last year have paid dividends for this season?
I think that's one of the biggest things. Getting that playing time last year really fed into this year. You can see that leadership out there, and I'm sure he worked hard in the offseason as well, but that playing time that he got last year, he got accustomed to it, got a little bit more leadership last year that really built into this year, and you can just see it out there, his presence out there, the way he goes about business. They can get a lot of guys in there at the running back position, but he's one key guy that they need in that lineup, guys.
All right, Bo, throw that seat cushion away. We're getting you back on the sidelines next week. Bob, everybody wants to talk about the Adams offense, and you can understand why. They were averaging over 41 points a game coming in tonight, scored 32 tonight. But this defense for the Eagles, 12 quarters, no touchdowns.
No touchdowns. They really were watching one of the best kicking efforts we've seen in a long time. If there was going to be a possible other most valuable player tonight, it might have been the Adams kicker. But this is a team that needs to eliminate the fumbles, the loose balls that we saw tonight, and need to gain their composure and keep it throughout the ball game. Again, this is a team that has some high aspirations, including in conference and around the state. And give credit to Antoine Jones and his staff. They've done a nice job of turning this thing around.
Adams now 3-0, Riley 0-3, and that'll do it for our coverage tonight from Jackson Field here on South Bend South Side. Our thanks to our TV 46 production crew. I think they walked everything over here tonight. We're so close to the station. Now they drove it on over, and we appreciate all their hard work of setting things up. Reminder, next week we've got more high school football for you. This time we go into the Northern Lakes Conference. The first time the Mishawaka Cavemen will ever play a game in that league as they go down to Fisher Field in Warsaw and take on their old coach Bart Curtis and the Tigers. You're not going to want to miss that one. We'll have it for you Friday night 11, Saturday morning at 9, and of course live on Facebook, YouTube, and the IHSA Champions Network. Now for my partners, the Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt. This is Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final, Adams 32, Riley 6. So long from the south side of South Bend.